All right, this update is brought to you by Unbound.org. Padres beat the Braves last night 5-4. They're moving on to the National League Division Series, where they will face the Dodgers starting Saturday night up in L.A. Dylan Cease versus Jack Flaherty is your Game 1 matchup. Yu Darvish and Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the Game 2 matchup. Joe Musgrove left last night's game with elbow tightness. He's going to be evaluated more today, but he did say post-game last night he felt better, and he thinks he does have a chance to pitch again this postseason. There's one more game in the wild card round today. 4:08 first pitch, Game 3 between the Brewers and the Mets. Winner of that series and that game moves on to face the Phillies in the NLDS. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaching Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 1, Jon and Jim. Here we are, National League Division Series, deja vu all over again. Padres, Dodgers, round 3 of the decade, 2020, this round. 2022, this round. This is a bit of a rubber match. Dodgers in 2020, Padres in 2022, and they will meet again. Everything was going swimmingly yesterday.
It was almost like it was too perfect.
They win the day before in shutout fashion. There's a 5-run second inning. They're going to win the game. They're going to hold the lead, and they did, and they won the game.
All with 2 outs in the second, by the way.
Everything's great. But Joe Musgrove looks really good.
Jackson Merrill's hitting triples and doubles
Everything's
everywhere.
Great.
I mean, he's great.
Until it wasn't,
Yeah.
And that's the question. It's a two-pronged question. A, is he going to return like you said in the update? Maybe. We don't know. Is he going to return? And then secondly, if he doesn't, how much of an equalizer is it, or how much of a detriment or setback is it for the Padres? Not that it was some formality that they were beating the Dodgers and or winning the World Series, but you felt as if they had a really, really, really good shot based on everything we know. They're well-positioned. It should be an excellent series. I still believe that. I'm just wondering right now, Jim, as good as last night was, and you're seeing the celebration and you're happy as a Padres fan, there's a part of me that's thinking to myself, but can they do this without a leader, a captain, an ace, a difference maker in Joe Musgrove? We're going to find out over the next week.
Yeah, and last night was awesome. Getting the win, and we knew it was going to be much more of a closer game than Game 1. We knew that we knew there was going to be moments in this game where there was going to be a lot of nerves. There was going to be, I mean, it turned into a 1-run game there with Marcell Harris picking up the home run. Michael Harris picking up the home run there.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew it was going to be a stressful night. They got Fried out in the second inning. Like I thought they were going to hit Fried, but I didn't realize they were going to like actually literally hit him
in the butt.
Hit him.
Right.
And he had to leave that game. And Jackson Merrill continues to show how pressure is something that he doesn't experience at all. I mean, he had a triple and a double in that game. Manny Machado came through with the bases loaded after striking out in a huge moment in the first. And after the first inning, you think to yourself, oh no, Braves go up 1-0. They don't get a run after having the bases loaded, no outs. You're like, oh my gosh, here we go. And then the second inning happens, all with 2 outs, 5 runs put on the board. Their bullpen wasn't perfect, but they didn't need to be perfect. Estrada didn't pitch well. Adam gave up the 2-run home run. Scott did pitch really well, I thought, in an inning in the third, getting Olsen out there with trouble in the base pass. And then Suarez, again, goes out there in a postseason games and puts the most important number up on the board, which is a 0 in the run column.
Mm-hmm.
They come away with the win. It felt like after the game, it was a very workman-like type of celebration. Like,
well, other than maybe Fernando Tatis Jr.
Well,
right?
Tatis was having a little fun, but from a standpoint of celebration on the field, like after the game ended, everyone obviously celebrated, but you heard post-game, Manny's like, this is what everybody wanted. We expect to be here. We want the Dodgers. The Dodgers want us. We want the Dodgers. Let's go.
Yeah, but here's my question. Is it subdued because they know the task at hand, which is great? I love that. I'm with you. I think Manny Machado is like he's come full circle in his time as a Padre. He's a veteran player now. He understands there's only so many chances to win a World Series. You might not get a better one, truthfully, than this one if you're Manny Machado. But was it subdued because they know the task at hand? I think I saw Mike Schild embracing Manny Machado and saying, job's not finished, 11 more. You heard that messaging.
A lot of cuss words in there.
Or there was. Or was it subdued because they understand the gravity of the possibility of not having Joe Musgrove? Like, I don't think we're making too much of it to say that to win a World Series, and now we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's the ultimate goal, even to win the series. Joe Musgrove's a significant piece. I mean, if you fast forward to a game 3 or game 4, and a series is either 1-1 or 2-1, if there's a fourth game, we know a series will be 2-1 one of the ways. And the difference between having Musgrove and not having Musgrove, could they overcome that? To me, is really the $1 million question heading into the series. I think the answer is yeah, you can, but is it harder to do in the absence of Joe? And the answer is unequivocally yes. If Joe Musgrove does not pitch in the series, it is harder to beat the Dodgers. I cannot be convinced otherwise. So I have to be honest and real with it. I think they can absolutely do it. They proved in the regular season they were better than LA. They didn't have Joe Musgrove a lot of the regular season. This ain't the regular season. And it's a big, big ask. I hope they're up to it. They're going to have to play brilliant baseball, in my opinion, to win the series without Joe Musgrove. And let's see if they can do it.
This has felt like a collision course all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Really. From the jump in Korea.
Yeah.
And then you see how well the Padres played in the second half. You're thinking to yourself, all right, whoever gets the one, I mean, they're going to face off against each other in the divisional round, because if the Dodgers didn't win the division, they were going to be the 4 seed. But if the Padres won the division, most likely they were going to be the 1 seed with how things shaped out. But yeah, it's I'm excited. I mean, bring them on. This team is not afraid of anybody. They have a look to them like they're on a mission.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, this series against the Braves was such a workman-like series, in my opinion, where they got the job done. Yeah, there were moments because it's baseball. I mean, there's obviously stressful moments, and they only trailed in the series for a half an inning.
They trailed for an inning and a half.
Inning and a half because they
trailed into the bottom of the second inning.
That's right. You're right. Okay, so they trailed for an inning and a half the entire series.
Yeah, it's good.
It felt like they were clearly the better team.
Yeah, definitely.
Clearly. And
I thought last night was a really good game.
I thought
really
it was a good game
too. It was a really good playoff game where Kristen said, "Why are you pacing?" In the 8th and 9th inning, I was just walking around.
Yeah.
So it was a good game. I give Atlanta a lot of credit. I knew that they'd show up. They're too proud of an organization not to. When they went down 5-1, it's easy to roll over there. They did not. Yeah. They're facing a really good bullpen. They kept San Diego's bats at bay. I think winning in 2 is huge, by the way. If you just won in 3 and don't have Joe Musgrove, that's a different conversation than winning in 2 without Joe Musgrove. Why? Because Dylan Cease can now throw games 1 and 5. So I think by winning in 2, you've given yourself a better shot. Now, the odds are the odds. I think the Dodgers are a slight favorite. They would have been anyway, even if Joe Musgrove was fully healthy. And you're going to Dodger Stadium with one goal in mind, in my opinion, which is to replicate 2022 and get a game.
Yeah.
The whole goal there is you get one of them, you come back home, you never go back to LA, and you find ways to win at home. It's an amazing postseason atmosphere here. I'm sure the atmosphere at Dodger Stadium is going to be really good. And is this the toughest series for these teams from here on out? For both the Dodgers and the Padres, is the winner of this series a shoo-in for a World Series, as in getting there? Are they going to win the World Series? That's tough to know, but I would say this is a tough series for both teams. I'm sure from the LA perspective, like, man, this is the team that got us in the regular season. This is the team that got us in 2022. From the San Diego perspective, it is the LA Dodgers. It's not like it's just a cakewalk into the championship series, right?
No.
It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take great baseball.
I truly believe, like, I picked the Padres against the Braves. I didn't think, once Sale was ruled out, I just thought to myself, and then the way that they played game 1 with Michael King on the mound and how they played last night as well.
Right.
Now, they only scored in 3 innings in this entire series. No, 4 innings. Right? Yeah.
3 in the opener and 1 yesterday.
Yeah. So it wasn't like the Padres just kind of put it on the Braves. The Braves, they battled. Their bullpen kept them in the games.
Yeah, both of them.
And if the Braves bullpen didn't pitch like that, then they would have, I mean, not even been close in this series. But credit to the bullpen for the Braves for making it somewhat close last night.
They were close. Yeah.
But yeah, going forward now, I look at this series as a true toss-up. Just with the health of Joe, And because the Dodgers have home field, is Ohtani going to be the player that he was the last 2 weeks of the season?
That's the question.
He's the X factor in my mind.
I mean, is he out of his mind, or is he just really, really good? Like, is he out of this world, 5 home runs, 6 steals in 5 games? Or is he the pedestrian? Like, you would almost take like the 333 1 home run 5 games.
Yeah. And, there's going to be some twists and turns. I don't feel like it's going to be like the Brave series, where the Brave series, like, it was, we're going to take care of business. We're getting this thing done and we're moving on. They didn't mess around these last 2 nights, trailing for only an inning and a half the entire series. There were some nervous pressure moments last night, but they got through them. And other than that, they're moving on. And the crowds, by the way, oh my God. I mean,
amazing,
just incredible.
But to your point, there's no scenario. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. There's no scenario where this thing isn't back and forth and this thing doesn't go more than 3 games. There's no scenario where that plays out. You also have to remember, on the other side of this rivalry or series or whatever has been playing out over the last 5 years, whatever we want to call it, is a Dodger team that has not made it out of the divisional series each of the last 2 years. So, and they've been sitting with that in their mind for the last 6 days. Oh, by the way, the next time Shohei Ohtani's in the batter's box is the first time he's in the batter's box in the postseason. And like, all of those factors at play, and I understand they've had injuries. Tyler Glasnow is a real injury. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is not on this postseason roster. This is a different team. Walker Buehler has had trials and tribulations over the last 3 years, but Jack Flaherty, Yamamoto, you talked about for game 2. I think it's good enough. I like the Padres' chances with the rotation against the Dodgers rotation, but without Joe Musgrove, to me, it feels like they're a lot more level than they were 24 hours ago before I knew Joe Musgrove was going to exit that game.
Yeah. Up until when Joe left yesterday, I'm thinking to myself, like,
advantage
yep. Padres all the way. I think that if a healthy Joe is out there, I said it yesterday on the show, this team has the best rotation, in my opinion, in the postseason of any team. I would take this Padres rotation. If Michael King's going to freaking pitch like he did game 1, if Joe is going to continue to pitch like he has for the last month plus, good luck. Like, I take this team over anybody. And just the way that they have a belief about themselves, a way that they have these special moments that has been happening all season long. They have a superstar rookie player. Fernando Tatis Jr. is red hot. Manny came up clutch last night with the bases loaded. They just have this it factor about them. And then all of a sudden, when was it? The 5th inning that he left?
Left in the 4th
inning. Left in the 4th inning. The air got let out of the balloon just a little bit for me.
For me, it was, I mean, to be honest, it was a lot of it.
Well,
because I was thinking about what it meant. Like, we've spent, Jim, we obsess over this for 365 days a year. I don't think there's a show in the city that spends more time, and I'm not even kidding, and we're not even the flagship, but we spend so much time on this, right? Whether it's YouTube or here. We spend time where people are like, why are you talking about the Padres on December 15th or January 15th, right? We fight people to talk about it because we know that our listeners want to hear about it. And once we got into the second half and they went 40-15 or whatever they did over 55 games, I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is the team that brings a World Series trophy to the city of San Diego for the first time ever. And I still feel as if it's a possibility, but I know that you need your rotation and you need Robert Suarez and you need Tatis playing like this and Manny being Manny. When you take a part out of that, I'm thinking, what does it mean in the grand context of trying to win a World Series? And I don't know. It just, for me, was deflating to know that if they had their best chance in 25 years to win a World Series, I just feel like today, maybe it's been lessened by what happened last night.
Well, look, you knew going into the postseason, it wasn't going to be perfect.
Never said it was going to be easy.
It was never going to be like the easy route.
Could they have stayed healthy?
That is a part of it. I mean, that was always what we talk about. Can they stay healthy? I think every time I mention this rotation, it's with if and when healthy. So this is adversity that, I mean, every team faces it.
Yeah.
Like, I bet
look
you
at the Dodgers, they don't have Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, I bet you if you look at the last 5 World Series winners, they had to face some adversity in the postseason.
Of course,
absolutely.
Of course. Yep.
And this is no different. And with the loss of Joe, it hurts. And we don't know the full update on Joe. We'll hear from Joe coming up next. Yep. He talked post game, but even without Joe, I still feel confident. It's a bummer because with him,
you got a really good shot.
You have a real advantage.
for me, I think the difference between other years when stuff like this has happened is we got you Darvish sitting in the bullpen.
He's going to be a starter. I mean, he was going to be a starter regardless.
Well, I know,
but
the
division
other years, if Musgrove would have went down, we had nobody. We had actual bullpen guys in the bullpen that we needed to start because we had no backup plan. This year, at least we have another ace pretty much just sitting there ready to go.
Well, they have three.
But that was the thing. 2022, they had three as well, and the problem was they didn't have a fourth. That's where they ran into trouble.
And we'll see. We'll see how they navigate it. We'll talk about it coming up. There's 2 off days in this series if it does go 5 games. We'll hear from Joe Musgrove on his injury. We'll hear from Jackson Merrill this hour. Still to come today, Chris Hodge, free picks for our listeners. We'll talk to him about Padres Dodgers. Also, Bryce Miller, columnist for the UT, will join us at 5 p.m. We have Aztec tickets to give away. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, tune in tonight, 6 p.m., the Sean Lewis Show. Did you mention that during your update?
Thanks for listening.
The head coach of the Aztecs sits down with John and Rich to look back at what happened last week and preview the Mount West opener against Hawaii, Saturday, 5 p.m. The Sean Lewis Show tonight at 6 on your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. How about this? During Trainwreck Radio today, let's give away San Diego State Hawaii tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium, where the first 10,000 fans will get reversible bucket hats. So we'll give away 2 tickets to Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Can we hear from Joe Musgrove? Because there's been a lot of discussion about Joe Musgrove. And we're not going to hear from doctors today. We're not going to hear from training staffs. We're not going to hear from Mike Schilder, AJ Preller today. So we're going to be left questioning what's next here for Joe. But listen carefully in terms of what Joe said yesterday. This was Joe Musgrove post-game after the win on his injury.
I know you're feeling good now, but can you tell us what happened there and how you're feeling with your arm?
Yeah, until we see tomorrow, I'm going to get it looked at tomorrow with the doctors and see what the damage is. But I feel confident right now that I've got a chance to come back and pitch again in the postseason. I'll have a better idea once tomorrow passes, but I feel better as the day's gone on since I came out. But I think it was good that I came out when I did.
What did you feel in that moment?
Elbow pain, different from the pain I had earlier in the year, but I just couldn't finish any of my pitches. My stuff started falling off, and probably best that Higgy came out and got me.
2 things there. He said essentially he's confident or hopeful he can pitch again this postseason. That to me was a big word choice decision. He didn't say my next start. Okay. When you hear that, the way he said it, wasn't like he said, hey, I hope to pitch again this postseason. That doesn't scream 5 days from now, but maybe. And then the other thing was, if not for Kyle Higashioka going out to the mound and recognizing that something was off and his velocity was off, it would have been only 1 or 2 or 3 pitches before someone came out. Did they check on that?
Like 91, what's going on here?
Right.
So a 72-mile-an-hour curveball.
But you do wonder if he threw another pitch or 2 if it got worse.
Yeah.
In that situation. Like,
Right.
Does that play out worse? And does that then prevent him from maybe making another start this postseason?
Look, I would be very surprised if he pitches in the Dodger series. I won't put it past Joe, and we'll find out the rosters coming up on, I think, Saturday, maybe morning or early afternoon.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the game's at 5:30. And if Joe's on the roster, then he's pitching. If he's not, obviously he's not. But you know what I mean? Like, that will tell us all we need to know about Joe's health.
Sure.
And so that is going to be key to see what the roster looks like for the division series. I, again, would be surprised if he does pitch, because anytime you hear somebody say elbow tightness,
and he even said elbow pain. They said, what did you feel? He said elbow pain.
and you're right. He said elbow pain. That's kind of scary to me. I'm just not going to lie.
Here's
it's
the other
scary.
thing. Here, think about this, though. What if I honestly, the more I think about it, what you just said there, I'd be surprised if he was on the playoff roster. I said the same thing last night, and I agree with you, but then I thought about it right now when you said it. I wonder from a gamesmanship perspective, if you put him on the roster, here's the reason why. He can be replaced. Now, if he's replaced, he can't pitch in the next series.
Okay.
But if they know the extent of his injury, you put him on under the premise that, oh, wow, Joe Musgrove's on this roster. That's a shot in the arm, no pun intended, for the team, for the fan base. Shoot, the Dodgers are thinking we're facing Joe Musgrove in game 3 or 4. When it actually gets to that point, you can replace him. Now, he can't pitch in the next series. And if you have to replace him, you have to replace him. But to start the series, if he was on it, it doesn't mean he's going to pitch. It just means he's on it. And if he's replaced, he's out.
And truthfully, he was only going to pitch 1 game in this series anyway.
That's right.
It was going to be either game 3 or 4, probably game 4, because now you have it lined up where Cease can go. I mean, okay, so Cease is going Saturday. And then if you want, you can have Cease. Well, obviously you can. You can you're going to have Cease go game 5 too. So game 1 for Cease, game 5 for Cease,
full rest. Actually, an extra day.
Extra day, yeah. Darvish game 2, King game 3, or it's Darvish game 2, King game 3. And I don't know.
Did they announce that?
They announced Darvish game 2.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't realize.
And they also announced King game 3.
Okay,
so that's the rotation: Cease, Darvish, King. It's going to be Flaherty, Yamamoto, and I don't know who's pitching game 3 for the Dodgers. Maybe Buehler.
They have Buehler, and then they have the young pitcher Knack, who we saw late in the year.
Yeah.
Is it Landon Knack?
Landon Knack.
Yeah.
But it's just, what do you do with game 4? Because I don't think there's a sweep either way here. I just don't.
Neither do I.
I think this could go 5. I think it will go 5. Are you going to go bullpen day if Musgrove can't pitch? Are you going to try Martin Perez? I personally wouldn't. I would just go bullpen day. Because
Well,
Martin
when you say
Perez,
bullpen day,
I would start like Morahone or Hoeing, probably Morahone if you ask me, because you got Shohei leading off the game. So
right.
I would probably start Morahone to be honest with you, because if Freddie Freeman's going to be active, which is another question in the series,
he's expected to be per Dave Roberts.
then I just would start Morahone game 4 and go bullpen day, to be honest with you.
Well, I like that idea until I'd have to see what the plan would be, because if Morahone threw an inning and then you're back in the same situation where are you going to need someone to cover multiple innings? Is that going to be Brian Hoeing over Martin Perez? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
In that spot? Okay.
Because Martin Perez hasn't pitched since last Sunday and he got lit up in Arizona.
Yeah. You trust everyone out of that bullpen a bit more than Martin Perez, even though we wouldn't be asking Perez to quote unquote start. And the way I look at it is, if Martin Perez does start, you're just looking for him to get a certain number of outs. Is it 3? Is it 6? Is it 9? But I wouldn't be treating him like, hey, go give me 5 innings.
And truthfully, if King continue, I mean, this is a lot to ask, obviously, but if King can give you 6 innings the previous night in game 3,
then you're rested.
Then you're pretty rested. You don't have to use Yuki Matsui or Brian Hoeing or Adrian Morahone or maybe a Jeremiah Estrada. And yeah, the back end guys will be probably a little taxed with Adam Scott and Suarez.
Yeah. But you got an off day in the series for You got 2.
Yeah, you got
after
Monday
game
and Thursday.
2, after game 4. I mean, the one thing, though, is what if it doesn't go? This is the series, unlike the Braves, where there's a high probability it doesn't go, quote unquote, according to plan. And we can talk about it on the other side. But the odds that Cease, King, Darvish, I'll give you the 6.
It's
That's where it gets and maybe they do. Amazing.
Yeah.
But maybe they don't.
Yeah. Cease in game 1, his last start at Dodger Stadium, only went 5, gave up 3. He did not pitch great. I think he walked 3, struck out 4. It wasn't a Cease outing that you like and love, but
the question is, can the starters give you the length that is then necessary to afford you a bullpen day? Jackson Merrill spoke about getting to the NLDS in his rookie season. You'll hear from Jackson Merrill on the other side. We are here until 6 p.m. We have San Diego State, Hawaii tickets to give away. Bryce Miller from the UT will join us at 5. It's Jon and Jim. All right. Hey, guys, it's Jon and Jim. It really is an amazing time of year for sports fans, isn't it? With the MLB postseason, NFL, and college football, and making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. And with Underdog, you can win 325 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player's stats.
Yeah, just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in cash bonus when you deposit. Of course, the baseball postseason's underway. Higher or lower on home runs from Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado is a pretty good bet this time of year.
Hopefully a really good bet against the Dodgers. Go to their mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JONANDJIM to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer.
Yeah, you must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, this update is brought to you by Unbound.org. Padres beat the Braves last night. They're moving on to the NLDS to face the Dodgers starting on Saturday night up in LA. Game 1's matchup is already set. Dylan Cease versus Jack Flaherty, 5:38 first pitch time in LA. Joe Musgrove left last night's game with elbow tightness. He will be evaluated more today, but he did say post-game he felt better and thinks he has a chance to pitch again this postseason. There's one more game in the wild card round today, but a half hour away from first pitch. Game 3, Brewers and Mets. Winner of that game moves on to face the Phillies. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
We've got great giveaways today. San Diego State, Hawaii for Saturday. Oktoberfest is coming up on Saturday, October 12th. Brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. We'll give those tickets away today as well. Chris Hodge has free picks for us at 4:30. Bryce Miller, great columnist for the UT, at 5 p.m. Jackson Merrill said something last night, Jim, that you kind of forget when you're watching this guy have maybe a Rookie of the Year season and help lead a team to an NLDS. He said, and we'll hear from him in a moment, he said, 3 years ago, I was playing in front of 25 people. I grew up in the Northeast. The number of people at a high school baseball game in the state of Maryland or the state of Pennsylvania or the state of Massachusetts is 25 people. And he's not joking.
No.
There's a couple of parents. A lot of people are at work.
Yeah.
It's just a field.
Yep.
There's no stands. It's just there's no fence. It's just a field. That's what he was doing 3 years ago. Fast forward, what I was doing 3 years ago was sitting next to you. Fast forward 3 years, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, you haven't upgraded.
We're still talking to 25 people. The difference has been, the difference for Jackson Merrill is more magnified.
Probably less, actually.
Right? It's way more magnified from 25 people in whatever town in Maryland to last night.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
No, yeah, and let's hear from Jackson. So this is post-game in the clubhouse. Marty caught up with him. This is what you're talking about. Here's Jackson Merrill post-game.
And he's always been the man. We trusted him behind the plate every game, so he deserved it. But for us to come back, beat down 1-0, him just hit a home run, put us right back there. Come on, you can't ask for anything more. It's a game. It's the same team. We play the Braves, and they're a good team. We played other teams that are good teams. Dodgers are a good team, but we gotta play our game. We gotta play our baseball. I gotta treat it the same. Once the mentality switches and you make it too big, it's not gonna go well for you. I'm keeping it the same, keeping it easy, and that's how it works.
First playoff experience, your first time in the playoffs. What does all of this feel like for you?
Sorry?
Your first time in the playoffs. What does all of this feel like for you?
It feels fun, and I feel blessed. 3 years ago I was in high school playing in front of probably 25 people. So you come here and play in front of 50,000. There's nothing better than that. Nothing more fun than that.
Does it feel surreal, or do you feel like this is where you belong all along?
Baseball is my passion. I put baseball for so much.
Yeah, that's right, Rook. That's right, Rook.
Baseball is where I belong. I don't care what field. I love this team. I want to be here forever. I want to be the Padres forever. But baseball is what I always love.
I know the other reports told you about this group looking so strong.
Sign him
Forever.
AJ, just put the contract together.
How could you not love this kid?
Dude, he is having the time. I'm having the time of my life. What was that? Vance Joseph.
The time of my life.
No, remember the Monday Night Football commentator on the sideline? Vance Joseph is having the time of his life.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That's what
I'm with you, Jim. I was thinking Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. Jackson Merrill's having the time of his life.
He is just having so much fun out there. And he's also contributing in a big way. He's not just out there just having fun in the dugout and cheering on the team. He's contributing. And he's coming up with some big clutch moments, like the double the triple, and then the double later in the game and then making a great defensive play on Soler's ball there in the 9th.
Dude, that could have been an absolute game-changing, season-changing play that he made somehow.
The ball hit was it was hit so hard, he misread it off the bat. He went up, in, and then he had to go back.
Well,
and
the
still
adage.
makes the catch.
I mean, that usually is costly. You get a wrong jump as a center fielder on a ball hit at you, it costs you the play, right? You go in on a ball you should go back on as a center fielder when it's hit directly. The fact that he was able to make that play, we'll never know what would have happened if it went over his head.
I just love everything about Jackson Merrill. He is the exact type of baseball player that you want to root for. A guy that, and a kid, truthfully, who loves the game, loves his teammates. He was fist pumping in like the 4th inning yesterday and in the outfield when an out would occur. Like, he was just having so much fun. And oh, by the way, he's really good.
He gets it. That's like
Totally.
the best way that I can describe it is he gets it. My favorite part of that like interview thing that you just did with Marty was, Manny didn't come over and dump champagne and stuff on him when he's like, oh yeah, 3 years ago I was, playing in front of 25 people. He said, you know how much I give up for baseball? And then Manny's like, that's right, Rook. Because he gets it.
Yeah, no.
He gets it. If you want to win, you're going to have to make certain sacrifices. You're going to have to put the game above, other things. And, he gets it. He's, everyone always remembered Kobe it's basketball first. Basketball first is always basketball. Jackson Merrill's kind of the same way, where it's just, it's all about baseball.
He's 21. He started the season as a 20-year-old. He started last season as a shortstop. And he's put together a complete year. They're flashing graphics up first since Andrew Jones this and only center fielder that. I mean, it's not just like a nice year. Like you got to quantify or put it in perspective. It's not a nice year by Padres standards. It's a great year. End of sentence. Really, for any player at any point in their career. And I put nothing past him. I would say that the stage is not too big for him. To do that in the postseason is impressive. Is he going to do it now in the next round against the Dodgers? I would say, why not? It doesn't feel like any stage has been too big for Jackson Merrill. I wouldn't expect the stage against LA to change that for him.
No, I wouldn't expect it at all. If anything, he's going to relish the moment. He's going to embrace the pressure like he has all season long. I mean, his first postseason series, John, incredible. He is the youngest Padres rookie to get a base hit, right? In his postseason debut.
Yeah, younger than Tatis.
And then the other night, he comes through with a double and a triple there, 2 RBIs. I mean, it was a small sample size, but in the series, he hit 429. He's just a guy, every at-bat that he had in the series against the Braves, at no point did I feel like or felt like he was overmatched. I just felt like every time at the plate, he was going to give you and was giving you a really, really, really good at bat. To where if you made a mistake to him, he was going to make you pay, and he did.
Yeah, he's a really dangerous hitter among a series of dangerous hitters in their lineup. That's what I like about the Padres. It's like you got a number 9 hitter where Dylan Cease says earlier in the day yesterday, we have the best number 9 hitter in baseball. And then he homers again in Kyle Higashioka. It's like they can beat you in a number of ways. And I saw last night, we're doing wrap-up shows, and people say, what's wrong with Jake Cronenworth and Xander Bogaerts? Who cares? They have enough in their lineup that, of course, not all 9 guys are going to hit in the same postseason game. You're not going to score 18 runs on 20 hits in a postseason game. If you pound out 10 hits, they did last night. If you score 5 runs, they did last night. You're going to win a lot when you have Dylan Cease and Yu Darvish and Michael King as your starters.
Well, I wouldn't say I don't care. I mean, I do care a little bit, because if Jackson Merrill continues to be doing this, they're just going to pitch around him, and they're going to make Bogarts and Cronenworth have to beat you. And if they are going to play like this,
I mean, I don't know if this is strategy. Like, let's work around Jackson Merrill and make Bogarts and Cronenworth beat us. I mean, there's enough guys in this lineup that I don't know if that strategy alone is enough to beat the San Diego Padres.
Well, it's a strategy that you might see going forward if Jackson Merrill continues to play like this.
That's a good strategy.
I know.
If he's going to be on base and other guys are going to have to come through. It's not like we have no faith in the ability for Jake Cronenworth to produce. It's not like we have no faith in Xander Bogaerts' ability to produce. Not complete black holes all year, are they?
Right now, Jake looks kind of lost at the plate. You got to admit that. He went 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. He even tried to get a bunt down. He did get a bunt down. He tried to get on by that way. Bogarts, I don't think he hit one ball hard in the entire series versus the Braves.
But my point is, it's hard to have everyone playing the way you hope them to play in the postseason. And if you can win despite some of that, that's necessary. And they did score 9 runs in 2 games. That should be, this is my point yesterday, that should be enough. 4.5 runs per game in the postseason with your pitching staff should win you games.
Now, hopefully, in this Dodgers series, Jake Cronenworth career, like he's been really good against the Dodgers.
Good point.
So hopefully we'll turn him around a little bit. And we already know what Fernando Tatis Jr. does up at Dodger Stadium. He owns that place.
Exactly.
And he is red hot right now. So a red hot Fernando Tatis Jr. going into Dodger Stadium where he has 12 career lifetime home runs there.
That's pretty good.
Sign me up, dude. I'm ready to go. There's a lot still to get into, but yeah, it's is it Saturday yet? I mean,
no, it's not. It's Thursday. So we've got 48 hours to discuss.
Yeah, so make sure you show up tomorrow.
Right. What has Jake Cronenworth done in his career against the LA Dodgers? We'll share that with you on the other side as we get you ready again for game 1 of that series coming up Saturday at 5:38. We do have Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas joining us at 4:30. He has free picks for our listeners. We have Thursday Night Football tonight. We have NFL and college this weekend. And we have Bryce Miller joining us at 5 p.m. And we'll give away Aztec tickets coming up. We're getting you ready for Padres-Dodgers game 1 on Saturday. It's Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim back with you. Chris Hodge taking Vegas at 4:30. Free college and NFL picks for our listeners, plus his thoughts on Padres Dodgers coming up. Bryce Miller's been writing about it. Padres Dodgers, bring it on. Round 3 over the last 5 years in the postseason. Bryce Miller will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We do have Aztec tickets for Hawaii Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. There is a game 3 somehow in the MLB postseason. This is allowed. It doesn't have to be a sweep.
And we'll see tonight if the game 1 winner will win the series or not.
Exactly, because the game 1 winner, there have been 3 sweeps, is now 3-0, which means all-time 17-2.
Yeah.
Trying to make it 18-2 are the New York Mets. This game, you've mentioned it in your update, will get underway in about 15 minutes. So Mets and Brewers, winner gets Philadelphia. That's the only thing that's unknown right now in the baseball postseason. The other divisional series are set, including Padres and Dodgers, which to me, and we're biased, but it is compelling. The Dodgers storyline with Ohtani, the $700 million spend on him this offseason, the fact that the Padres and Dodgers has just been a good series over the last half decade. Like, to me, it's the most compelling of the possible matchups. Maybe Mets-Phillies divisional series would be interesting as well, but it's uber compelling.
East Coast, Mets-Phillies, yeah, that is.
But you think that's a bigger TV draw than Dodgers-Padres nationally?
I think Ohtani's the biggest draw.
Me too.
I think Phillies-Mets, you could argue because of their division rivalry for sure.
Yep.
And then Padres-Dodgers with their division rivalry. And because of Shohei, even though they put this game on FS1, is whatever.
That was set well before.
I know.
It's Iowa State Baylor on Fox. Ames, Iowa, Waco, Texas, over baseball in Los Angeles and San Diego. Isn't that incredible?
And Joe Davis
is
calling
the call, right?
This series.
He's doing the entire series, right? He's not doing college football or anything. He's doing the entire series.
He might do NFL on Sunday. I haven't checked. I just know he's doing game 1.
Yeah, okay.
He might do the entire series.
Okay.
So
he should. I mean, you shouldn't be rotating broadcasters in a series. Like, isn't this a big deal?
I thought they did that in 2022.
Maybe. How do you feel about Joe Davis as the bro? I mean, that's who Fox employs. I mean, it's not really you sub him out because he's the Dodgers announcer.
Yeah. Incredible! Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player to ever live.
Does he have to balance it out? I'm being serious here.
He has
he has
to.
He's got to, right?
He has to.
Does he almost go overboard the other way as not to be seen as a homer for the Dodgers?
I mean, you already know what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of bitching on social media about how both ways. Probably not from the Dodgers perspective, but from a Padres perspective, fans. Like I like Joe Davis. I think Joe Davis is actually really, 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 really good at his job. He's just a Dodger announcer. So by default, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Right.
I mean,
it's like the Shohei Ohtani thing.
Yeah. Not that I don't like you, but like, hey, you're a Dodger announcer. So that's it.
Right.
It's like, man, I wish Joe Buck was still doing baseball. I really do.
You miss him or you just don't want the Dodger announcer doing the series?
Both.
Yeah.
I
would say more from I wouldn't prefer to have the Dodgers primary announcer calling a Dodgers series.
Yeah. Everybody out there that said they hated Joe Buck, what are you saying now? Exactly. I bet you everybody that said they hated Joe Buck is missing Joe Buck right now.
Maybe.
Unless he amazes us and is like actually not biased, which I'll believe it when I see it.
He did the 2022 series.
Then I'm fine with it. If he can actually be a professional and just call it down the middle, then I don't have a problem.
But he'll be ripped on social because everyone is ripped on social.
He's not going to. He's not going to say things like, the Padres thought they were going to win this series. Laughable.
No,
he's not going to do that type of stuff.
He's not going to do that. And
honestly, I just mean like get more excited over a Shohei home run than a Tatis home run or something like that.
It'll be perceived as that, but I don't know if he actually will. But to me, again, looking at the series that are laid in front of us, looking at the time the games are going to be played, for example, 8 o'clock Eastern on Saturday and Sunday, essentially 8 p.m. hour.
Yep.
It's a big deal. And I think the Padres are a part of that. I think the Padres-Dodgers dynamic has been very good. And then, of course, you throw on the most marketable star, arguably in the history of the sport or recent history of the sport, Shohei Ohtani. You have to market and profile this guy. We've talked about it for years and years and years. It's hard to be critical. I mean, what if they hid these games and played them on Tuesday? Let's say they get to Petco for game 3 and the game is at 1:05 local. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. These games should be played at night.
Yeah, they should be prime time games. And I think they will be. I don't think that the game schedule has been announced for games 3 and through 5 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew the days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
which is interesting for a 5-game series. It's a whole week. That's kind of crazy. 2 off days.
I think it's a good thing,
I
right,
like
for
it.
the Padres, especially if they've got the pitching situation with Musgrove to have more time.
Especially if you're going to be leaning heavily on the back end of your bullpen, which, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Mhm.
I know Adam gave up the 2-run home run last night, but I still take Jason Adam any situation possible. I mean, Michael Harris turned into freaking Charlie Blackmon last night and in the series against the Padres. He was
very good.
He was very, very good. So I don't have any overarching concerns going into the series other than Joe. Now, Suarez does kind of scare me a little bit because he needed a triple play to get out of the game in that situation last Tuesday night.
That was easy.
It was very
Easy triple play.
Easy triple
He
play.
drew it up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, both teams are relatively healthy going into this matchup. And again, I'm taking the Padres in this matchup. I think overall, if you're coming from an unbiased standpoint, I think it's a 50-50 toss-up. But I'll take the Padres just because of the way they're playing, the it factor they have, and how much. I mean, the Dodgers have all the pressure in the world here. They're expected to win. They need to win, and Ohtani needs to perform. They have all the pressure here, all of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They're not the underdogs. They're not these gritty little Dodgers. They are the billion-dollar Dodgers that spend all the money in the offseason, and they are trying to buy a World Series.
That would be a good way to look at it, or the perception of it. I mean, they're a favorite in the series, because we just said, "Hey, I'm biased. I feel like it's a coin flip." Well, Las Vegas is unbiased, and it's not a coin flip. The Dodgers are a favorite in the series, so that's just what it is. They're minus 140, minus 145, depending on where you're looking. But there's the LA money, there's the Dodger dynamic, there's Shohei Ohtani. I think it should be a long series. We'd both be shocked if it was a 3-game series. Every single series has a chance to end in 4, because someone's going to lead 2 games to 1. So this is going to be a 4+ game series. I think we all agree on that. Can the Padres win it? Of course they can, but it's got the makings of being a really good series.
Yeah,
and it'll play out over the course of potentially, to your point, 5 games.
I'd be surprised if it's a sweep either way.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, in the 4 o'clock hour, we will get to the wrap. Plus, Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas has free picks for our listeners. We'll make those at 4:30. We're giving away San Diego State Hawaii tickets coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. At 5 p.m., Bryce Miller from the Union Tribune will join us to talk about the Padres-Dodgers series that kicks off this weekend. We're here until 6 p.m. Hour 2, Jon and Jim, it comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Unbound.org. Padres are moving on to the National League Division Series after they beat the Braves last night 5-4 to sweep that series 2-0. A date with the Dodgers is on Saturday, 5:38 first pitch. Dylan Cease will be on the mound game 1 for the Padres against Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers. Yu Darvish, Yamamoto, game 2. Michael King set for game 3. Joe Musgrove, we don't know if he's going to pitch in this series. He left last night's game with elbow tightness. He'll be evaluated more today, but he did say post-game that he felt better and thinks he does have a chance to pitch again in the postseason. Game 3 between the Brewers and the Mets, moments away from first pitch in Milwaukee. Winner of that game moves on to face the Phillies in the NLDS. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out of. To help their family put food on the table, you can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. By the way, surprise giveaway was just added to our show. Would you like to guess?
Hold on, let me guess. I don't know.
You do know because we told you. Tickets to see Eric Clapton.
Oh yeah.
Next week in 5 days at Pechanga Arena. Like, are you kidding? That's an amazing giveaway. So we have 2 tickets to see Eric Clapton with Jimmy Vaughn, October 8th. Tickets and info at AXS.com. We're going to give those away between now and 4:30. So if you want to see Eric Clapton, I think that's an amazing giveaway.
Oh,
we're going to do that. I mean, that's legitimately one of the better giveaways we've ever had.
He's like one of the best guitar players
ever in the history. Like, so we'll give those away in the next 30 minutes. We have Aztec tickets to give away. We have Rocktoberfest tickets to give away. Chris Hodge at 4:30. Bryce Miller at 5 p.m. Brewers Mets about to get underway, and we'll keep you updated on that game. All right, right now let's get to this though.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Well, the Aztecs bounce back this weekend against Hawaii.
Yeah, I think so. Give me like a quick scouting report on Hawaii, John. I haven't kept up with my Hawaii.
It's an island.
Warriors.
It run and shoot. Their head coach, Timmy Chang, is the second leading passer in the history of FBS football, 17,000 yards. Their quarterback is good, Braden Shager. He's throwing for a lot of yards. They air it out. I mean, they really rely heavily on the pass attack. They're 2-2. Their 2 wins are against FCS teams. Their 2 losses are against FBS teams. They lost to UCLA at home by 3, and they lost at Sam Houston State earlier this year, too.
Look, it was a bad loss against Central Michigan. I thought the Aztecs played really, really well in the first half.
They did.
So hopefully they can carry whatever they did in the first half to an entire game versus Hawaii. I thought Danny O'Neal played really well in the first half. And they're a young team. They still got to tighten some things up. And I think they have a bounce back game versus Hawaii, but I also think it's going to be a close game between the 2 teams. And they just have to make sure that they cut down on the mental mistakes. And when they have opportunities like field goals in the fourth quarter from 28 yards, you got to make those kicks.
Yeah, it's an important game. It is. They're looking for their second win of the season. They're trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. They're back at home. So hopefully they can. And by the way, it's the start of conference play. So can you start off in conference in the Mountain West 1-0 when you're hosting Hawaii? I think Danny O'Neal absolutely took steps forward. I thought the offense in general did, but they couldn't win the game, unfortunately. So we'll see if they do bounce back at home again to start conference play. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 Saturday at 5 p.m. with pregame coverage at 3. Next question.
Who wins tonight's epic Tampa Bay Atlanta showdown on Thursday Night Football?
Bucks Falcons.
Don't both of you go at once.
Combined records 5-3. Bucks are 3-1.
Where's this game played at?
This game is going to be played in the Mercedes-Benz or BMW something.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
The Chick-fil-A will actually be open tonight.
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's right.
It's Thursday, yeah.
I'll take the Falcons.
Take the Falcons at home. Yeah. What's the line?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
The betting line Is Atlanta minus 2.5, right?
Do you want to break this game down?
Yeah, well, here's the thing I would say, though, about Atlanta.
601, we'll break it down.
No, we're going to break it down right now. The thing I would say about Atlanta is they have really struggled with the left side of their offensive line. When you think about the guard situation that's played out, I'll take Atlanta. I'm with you. I'll take Atlanta to win this game at home. But I'm worried about that line. Long term, not just tonight.
That's great.
Luckily, they have the week and a half to get ready for their next game.
That's great.
Next question.
Kirk Cousins.
Yes, that's
Who?
right.
Michael Penix, who?
Is the Dodger series a must-win for the Padres?
Well, you're so stupid.
That's a fair question.
I think it might be.
Is it a must-win series?
If they want to keep playing, I think it might be.
Are you saving the?
I think I actually meant to write, is it a must-win game?
Hold on.
Game one.
I was going to say, are you going to save the is game one a must-win game for the Padres?
Well,
That's tomorrow.
It's not a must-win game one, seriously, because of what played out 2 years ago.
but I will say it's different in this aspect.
Because
2 years ago,
pitching.
you had Clevenger going game one, and then you had Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Games 2, 3, 4 now is going to be Darvish, King, and
TBA.
who knows. So from that standpoint, game one turns into a very, very important game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think going up to LA with your ace on the mound or one of your aces, I mean, this is why you traded for Dylan Cease.
It is one of the reasons why you traded for him. I would say get to San Diego 1-1 is my goal. From like an organizational perspective, if I get to San Diego 1-1, however I get there, if it's a game one win, amazing. If it's a game two win, amazing. You're putting pressure on yourself if you go down 1-0, no question about it. I wouldn't say it's a must-win game one. I think it is must get to San Diego 1-1. You get to San Diego down 0-2, let's all be honest with each other. Nobody's going to have a great feeling about winning the series. So get to San Diego 1-1. I'm absolutely you've stolen home field if you do that.
Yeah.
You have home field and you try to prevent it from going back to LA like you did 2 years ago.
Yep.
Next question.
Will Joe Musgrove pitch again this season?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Unfortunately.
I think he's going to try.
You don't have his medical records in front of you?
Like, hearing him post-game, that is a good sign, but that's just him being the competitor that he is. He's going to want to be out there regardless. And he had to be stopped from himself last night because he was going to try to finish off that inning. And Higgy had to stop him from himself.
Mm-hmm.
The team had to step in. And we've seen Joe this past year where he even said, like, I should have taken my time and not pushed it, because he went on the IL to start the season, or not start the season, but he was on the IL at the beginning of the year. He came back, and in his words, came back too early. And then that caused a 3-month IL stint to where then he came back and he looked really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's been dealing with stuff for the last week, I kind of am wondering why he didn't say anything. But
I mean, maybe he did. I have no idea.
Because it wasn't like Joe's spot in the rotation. If he wasn't pitching, it would have been like emergency code red, and you had Yu Darvish there. And the reason why they didn't start Yu Darvish is because they felt good about Joe.
I just hope that this isn't like Atlanta with Chris Sale is different than Atlanta without Chris Sale, right? We all agree. Mm-hmm. We treated the series like, oh my gosh, with Chris Sale, it's a tough series. Without Chris Sale, it's very winnable. It's not the same extent with Musgrove, and that's with all due respect. That's more of a credit to the rotation that AJ Preller has built.
Yeah.
It's not the end-all, be-all. To your point, they spent 3 months without him this year, and they won 93 games. Maybe it was more than 3 months, truthfully, from day one till the end of the season. So it's not like losing Chris Sale in your rotation. It's not Tariq Skubal for Detroit, because they don't have options like Darvish and whomever else, right? King, Cease. But like, what kind of loss is it? And even something you said earlier, like, well, he was only going to start one game in the series, 100% right. But one game in a 5-game series is at least 20% of a series. And if the series is 4 games or shorter, it's 25% or 33% of a series. So yeah, it's one game, but there's only 5 games, not 162.
Yeah. No, it's a tough loss. Like, it's now reverting back to the issues that 2022 team had, just rotation wise, where if they can get past the Dodgers here and you go into a 7-game series, then, you're not having a 4th starter or having that fourth starter position it's going to be difficult. Now it's going to be difficult in this series as well because that fourth starter, you're not having Cisco on short rest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't looked at it, but has Cease ever gone on short rest before?
I haven't looked.
Because, I mean, break glass in case of emergency if you really don't feel good about going to bullpen day or Martin Perez or Randy Vasquez or whoever else.
Just use them on 3 days rest.
And if you wanted to, you could use Cease on 3 days rest, and then Darvish would be fully rested for game 5.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I think, maybe pushing it. I don't know if it's an elimination game 4. I don't know what they would do. I don't know if they'd feel okay with going to bullpen or Perez or Vasquez.
If it's an elimination game, is when I would absolutely consider it. If it's a non-elimination game, like you're up 2 games to 1, you of course wait on them. You would just, even though you're not talking about having to win at Dodger Stadium in that scenario, if you did win game 4, you'd have to wait if it wasn't an elimination game. But if it was an elimination game, you almost have to count on Dylan Cease at that point. Like, what are you waiting for? If you're not going to pitch him in game 4 on 3 days rest, you're not guaranteed a 5th game.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. My gut tells me they're not going to use Dylan Cease on short rest in this series.
I don't think they will either.
Got him under control for 2025. Does he want to pitch on 3 days? Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are dynamic. Does the agent want him to pitch on 3 days rest? Like, these are dynamics that are at play.
Now, give me the Cronenworth numbers, because we talked about that earlier. And
everyone's like he's a Dodger killer, right?
Well, he has been slumping. He's not had a good month of September. He had a great game on that Tuesday night, the triple play game, the clinching game up in LA. He had the home run. I think he had 3 RBIs in that game as well. And then he proceeded to go 0 in the wild card series here versus the Braves. Did not have a good game last night at the plate.
Well, he's hit under 200 in his career against the Dodgers.
But
there's a but. I mean, he's hit 12 home runs against them. It's in 68 games.
Mm-hmm.
So in 68 games, I'm pulling it up right now, he has a 197 average with a 272 on base and a 394 slug, which adds up to a 665 OPS, which is whatever, meh. 12 homers. This is in the regular season in 68 games. Of course, we know what he did in the postseason in 2022. So I don't know how to look at it. I guess he's hit for power against the Dodgers. He's had some big hits, to your point, like a week ago at Dodger Stadium. But he's hit 197. So a little good, a little bad. I don't know how to look at that. Some meaningful moments, that's for sure, in the postseason.
Thanks to our other producer, Talking Friars, Ben Fadden. Sorry, Darnay. He put out a stat today.
Okay.
That in the division series in 2022, after Jake Cronenworth went 0 for 13 in the wild card series versus the Mets.
Yeah, he hit against the Dodgers.
He hit 438 with a home run and 5 RBIs against the Dodgers in the DS.
Which is why I don't think it's a good strategy to be like, well, just work around Jackson Merrill. I mean, all these guys are capable.
They're capable for sure. But if you're looking at from a Dodger perspective and Dave Roberts' perspective, who just always trips over himself in the postseason.
Right.
I mean, advantage Mike Schilt in this series, clearly, in my opinion. If you look at the matchups, if Jackson Merrill is going to continue to play like this and be this good at the plate and hit for power and yeah, you're going to take your chances against someone else who's not doing well, like Xander Bogaerts or Jake Cronenworth from that perspective. Same thing on the Padres perspective. If Ohtani's going to continue to just not get out and hit everything for power, you know what? I'm taking my chances against Mookie and Freddie Freeman.
All different comps. I get the comps you're making, but different.
Well, that's
both ways, because of the Freeman and Betts have MVPs, and Ohtani is playing out of his mind. As good as Jackson Merrill is, he didn't have that September.
Yeah.
And Cronenworth ain't comparable to Freeman. You know what I mean? So it's different, but I get the point.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for Fernando Tatis Jr., who is, I mean, lifetime against the Dodgers. He's been amazing at Dodger Stadium. Now, it's a little different because if they pitch around Tatis, you're asking for trouble if you're the Dodgers, because then you're going to be facing the Jurickson Profar, who will probably use that and 100% use that actually as a slight against him. And we know how he does when he feels slighted. So go ahead and pitch around Tatis. Make Profar feel like he's being slighted, and that will probably work in the Padres' favor.
I agree with that. All right, on the other side, we're giving away Eric Clapton tickets. Plus, we have breaking news involving the Dodgers rotation and Game 1. Their Game 1 starter has changed. We have it for you next on Jon and Jim. Hey guys, it's Jon and Jim. We've been telling you about our friends over at Hamul Casino. You need to get there this MLB postseason and throughout the NFL season as well. In fact, on Monday nights during the NFL season, you can win big with Monday Night Live $100,000 punch out.
Yeah, John, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, you can earn entries all month long by playing and getting two-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $100,000 in cash.
Yeah, it's great prizes and giveaways. Plus, you're going to love Tony Gwynn Sports Pub with the food and the drink and all the televisions to watch all the games. And Hamul has endless dining 5 nights a week. Their endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet, amazing combinations of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, get to Hamul Casino all football season long, including every Monday night from Monday Night Live, $100,000 punch out. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
You missed the 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival. You can now watch the best moments exclusively on Hulu. Beginning Monday, you'll see the biggest festival headliners from around the world assembled on one stage, on one show. Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, the Black Crowes, and many more. This is the only time you see a lot of superstar performers like this one on one stage, one night. See it all at our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival streaming on Hulu beginning Monday. So the news out of LA is they have flip-flopped their game 1 and 2 starters from Jack Flaherty game 1 to Yoshinobu Yamamoto game 1. Means Yamamoto would then be lined up to pitch in a potential game 5. But have they outthought themselves in this equation, Jim? Because Yamamoto against the Padres, I know it's been 6 months since he's seen him. Mm-hmm. He didn't throw it well really either of the times he pitched San Diego pitched against San Diego earlier this year.
So the start that he had in Seoul, South Korea, he went 1 inning, gave up 5 earned runs, 4 hits. The Padres chased him. He threw 43 pitches in that 1 inning.
That was also 7 months ago in Korea.
Then when he faced them again up in LA, pitched much better. 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, struck out 6, walked only 1.
Yeah. And that was in April.
Right. And then he proceeded to get injured in June.
Missed 3 months.
And he didn't start again until September 10th. Here are his last 4 starts. 4 innings, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. That was against the Cubs.
Yep.
4 innings, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. That was against Atlanta. Then 3 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks against the Rockies. And then his final start of the season at Colorado in 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, no walks. What's the theme of those last 4 starts? He hasn't thrown more than 79 pitches.
So if you're LA, let me think about this from their lens for a moment. You're going to heavily rely on your bullpen, presumably. Like, they have to know that going in. You're basically asking for Yamamoto to give you somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 innings and pitch effectively, right? 4 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 2 runs, and then turn it over in both games 1 and potentially game 5. Now, can that strategy work? Of course it can. But he hasn't thrown more than 5 innings since June 7th. And now it's the postseason against a very formidable lineup like San Diego. And you're going to be taxed and leveraged early, right? A lot of meaningful pitches potentially from the first pitch you throw. I like it from a Padre perspective.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could absolutely work out for them. But I'm just looking at his last 4 starts, and he's not going to work deep into the game. Like, do you think he's all of a sudden going to go 7?
No, they won't ask him to either. He'll get the quick hook. That's what they love doing. He's going to go 4 2/3 innings, dude.
Yeah. Look, it definitely could play in the Dodgers' favor. Yamamoto could go out and go 5 scoreless shutout innings and look great. But this to me feels like another Dodger overthinking moment.
It's a little overthinking, yeah.
And I think this plays into the Padres' hands. I do. I know that when they faced Yamamoto, it was at the start of the season.
Forever ago.
But yesterday I talked about the Naughty Barrel. Yeah, they faced Max Fried one time in Atlanta, and they saw him very, very well. And guess what happened last night? They saw Fried very, very well.
No, you're right.
They have seen Yamamoto 2 times this year. Not a lot, but 2 times. They didn't have Luis Ariz when they faced Yamamoto.
Yeah, good point.
But still, or Donovan Solano. But still, I think that to me, this plays in the Padres' hands because you're asking for trouble if you're the Dodgers here. If you expect Yamamoto to go 1-5. I would much rather, if I'm from the Dodgers' perspective, I would much rather have Flaherty 1-5 than Yamamoto 1-5.
Yeah, the reasoning behind this, I don't know if I mentioned it to start this conversation, was Yamamoto has not pitched on normal rest all year. And by going 1-5, they give him the extra day. So he would be on 5 rest days, which is the way they've used him his first year in the major leagues. Real quick, Machado this year took him deep. Is 1 for 2. Tatis is 2 for 2 off him this year. Elias Diaz this year, by the way, is 2 for 2 off of him. I mean, there's some guys that had success. Again, he didn't have any success against the Padres this year. He's got a 12 ERA in 6 innings in those 2 starts against San Diego.
I just like that matchup from a Padres perspective. I do. I think Jack Flaherty is a much better option game 1. Jack Flaherty pitched against the Padres last week, and let me just see what Jack Flaherty did against. Did he pitch on? When did he pitch?
He pitched in the series September 25th. He went 5 innings, 3 runs.
Okay, so
similar,
I guess, but still.
You know what? If you're LA, dude, hear me out for a second. Tell me I'm wrong from the LA glasses. Tell me I'm wrong. You're not asking Yoshinobu Yamamoto or Jack Flaherty to give you 5 scoreless innings. You're asking them to give you 5 good enough innings. And if your offense can't come through, that's on you. You can't be trying to win games against San Diego 2-1. You built this to score 2 runs, or you built this to try to score 4, 5, 6, 7 runs. They have to assume their offense is going to produce. Didn't, by and large, in the 2022 postseason. It sure didn't against Arizona in 2023. But I don't think they're looking at Yamamoto like, you better go shove and go 5 scoreless innings. That's not how they're looking at it. They're saying go 5 innings, allow 2 or 3 runs, let our offense do the work. Because our offense is going to have to show up for us to get out of this series. They're not asking Flaherty and Yamamoto to be perfect. That cannot be the strategy for LA after spending $1 billion this offseason. They're going to have to hit.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why they would. What in the matchup do they think would be why they're starting Yamamoto game 1?
I suppose you're saying if you're going to go to one starter in the series 2 times, why Yamamoto over Flaherty?
Well, you can go Flaherty 2 times in the series too if he pitches Sunday, excuse me. Because you can go Sunday, Friday.
True, but it sounds like the reason they made that flip-flop. Oh, it's true. Let's say Yamamoto in game 1 gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
He goes 3 innings the last 5 runs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then Flaherty in game 2 goes 5 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Well, then, of course, Flaherty starts game 5
right.
if there's a 5-game series.
So
it gives you flexibility. You can start either of them.
Yeah, you can start either of them.
And both games 1 and 2 are the same, aren't they? You have to win one of them.
I think it's a little bit of trying to outthink yourself.
Right.
Because you announced Flaherty at the start of the week. So then now you're changing it 2 days out.
It is a little weird.
Like if you had that, if you had that thought process now, why didn't you have it a couple days ago when you announced Yamamoto? You knew the schedule.
Chris Hodge is going to join us on the other side. I promise you, Eric Clapton tickets, caller 7, you're going to go. This is October 8th in 5 days at Pachanga. Tickets and info at AXS.com. Eric Clapton with Jimmy Vaughn on October 8th. Caller 7, you're going. 877-767-4760. Call right now. Chris Hodge, free picks for our listeners next.
This update is brought to you by Unbound.org. Padres Dodgers Division Series starts on Saturday up in LA. There has been a change to the rotation for the Dodgers. It was expected to be Jack Flaherty game one, but Yamamoto will now start game one against Dylan Cease. Joe Musgrove, we'll see if he's going to be in the division series. He left last night's game with elbow tightness. He's going to be evaluated the next couple days. We'll know more on that this weekend. Right now, game 3, Milwaukee and New York, they're underway. Top of the second, scoreless right now. Winner will move on to the division series against the Phillies. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Let's get Jon Jim here. He's been awesome on the show over the years. Again, I'll have 3 picks for us. He's going to have to play for you for Thursday Night Football on his text line as well. But Chris, before we go anywhere, Chris Hodge taking Vegas is with us every single Thursday at 4:30. You told us way back, it might have been May, it might have been June, when the Padres were middling, they were a 500 team. You said there's value in the Padres to make the postseason at plus 150. They made the postseason. Now, you also liked, I think that day, the Phillies to win the World Series. Of course, the Padres are still in it. The Phillies are still in it. How do you feel about the postseason right now, where the Padres stand, the state of the National League? Just looking around right now, and thanks for hopping on.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. Padres are hot. I mean, you guys don't need me to tell you that. You know that. I think the Phillies get an easy series, whoever they get. They're not going to get the Mets. I'm rooting so hard against the Mets. My wife would be miserable because she's such a Mets fan. I can't stand it. So I'm watching them right now, and I'm like, you got a watch party at the house. And I'm like, go ahead, have you fun. That'll be fun by 11 o'clock. But they pretty much get the NLCS there. But I do believe, and I'm not saying this because I'm on with you guys. I don't know if it's the Phillies won the World Series back in May when I was in the studio. I do believe the winner of the Padres Dodgers series will go to the World Series. Whether they win it or not is another issue. But I just think those are the 2 best, hottest teams in the league right now. And Philly really didn't play well down the stretch. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, we said that the other day. I think that we're all on the same page there. It'll be a fun series, definitely. Chris, tonight, Thursday Night Football, Bucks, Falcons. How can our listeners get that game tonight from you?
Simple. On the text line, just text the word win to the number 545454. It comes back immediately. We also have a big play lined up for Saturday and a big play lined up for Sunday. So we're going to give all that out for free. Now, you're not going to get the Saturday and Sunday picks tonight. You'll get them automatically on Saturday and Sunday. So if you text the word win to the number 545454, you'll get tonight's pick. And then automatically you'll receive a text probably at 8 o'clock your time on Saturday morning, 8 o'clock your time on Sunday morning. You get the text automatically. They play Saturday, they play Sunday. So 3 plays for free. And just text the word win to the number 545454.
All right, again, Thursday Night Football, and Chris just told you can text WIN to 545454 if you want a free play tonight and more free plays this weekend. All right, you do have free picks for our listeners right now on San Diego Sports 760. Let's start college football, SEC action, Tennessee, Arkansas. What you're playing that one?
Yeah, it was a big spread. Tennessee won 13.5. And look, when they played Oklahoma, they pretty much controlled the game and then really just tried to get out of there. Like, they played such a mundane, last quarter and a half of that game. But the fact of the matter is, Arkansas just does not have their talent. And Arkansas generally struggles after, especially if they lose the last 2 times it happened in they are a turnover machine, basically. They already have 9 turnovers in this game this season. And they are ranked 120th turnovers against FBS teams, not the FCS team that they played earlier in the season. So they're one of the worst turnover differential. They're playing one of the best defenses. They're playing the best offense in the team this year. So here's my expectation. So I think the emotion will keep them in the game for the first quarter and a half. But just as the talent goes on and as the Tennessee defense wears on them, I just think Tennessee begins to pull away midway through the third. And I'm thinking like something around like 41, 20, something like that gets the job done as Milwaukee just hit a double, which is good. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Tennessee to win by at least 3 touchdowns.
Chris, you also got a free NFL pick for our listeners. Cowboys Steelers Sunday Night Football. What do you got in that one?
I believe this is a bad spot for Dallas. Now I came on last Monday and I gave out Dallas. Now the line when I gave it out was 4.5 against the Giants. I know there was some fluctuation there. That line did go up, did go down. But this is a really bad spot because Dallas has the worst rush offense in the league. Pittsburgh has one of the best rush defenses in the league. Dallas does not stop the run. Pittsburgh is a good running team. Plus, Dallas is all over the place. Lawrence is out. Probably out. One of their wide receivers out. They got guys out all over the place. And you get a well-coached. I never coached good coaches. Another guy that's Aaron Rodgers. So you get a great defense with a good run game. It's almost the same situation as Baltimore and Buffalo last week. Baltimore being top run offense, top run defense. And you saw how that played out. I really believe it's going to be the same way. I don't think it's a 35-10 type of thing. But I think Pittsburgh with that run offense and that run defense really gives Dallas a problem. And the injuries for Dallas is going to be too much to overcome. I think, 24-17, somewhere in that area. I think Pittsburgh gets done by touchdown, man. Go ahead.
All right, Chris Hodge with us. Again, if you want tonight's Thursday night game, just text WIN 545-454. You're free. Plus, you'll get free play this weekend as well. I wanted to ask you, Chris, in general, about the difference between straight bets and parlays. We're in this world with a lot of parlay wagers out there. Online opportunities, all these companies offering up 2, 3, 4 hits. You can win, obviously, big. What advice do you have for listeners related to whether to play straight bets or parlays?
You have to be lucid. Always, that's the easiest way to say it. You can look this up. Go to Forbes Sports. Anyone out there listening? FanDuel and DraftKings have made, I think, just under $10 billion. Right? And the first 9 months of the year, $10 billion profit. 85% of their profit has come from parlay wagers. Right? So why would you ever do that? I make this analogy all the time. What is your enemy? Right? They know what will fail you. And what will fail you is constantly parlaying. That's what they want you to do. They don't want the guy that bets 5,000 on one game or 500 on one game. That's not the guy they want. They want the guy that puts $10 and $20 parlays 1,000 times for the first year. And that's why they make so much money. And you're never going to make money. You guys will. So I always tell people, 3 to 4 games a week max. Trade them for a solid money match. Sports wagering as a business. And again, this is what the sports is doing. $10 billion, 85% profit on parlays. Why you ever call it? Man, it just doesn't make any sense from a investor standpoint or a business standpoint. But a lot of people out there like to call it. They like to believe in the dream. It doesn't work out.
All right, so Chris, we'll do this each and every week as we've been doing throughout the course of the football season. And again, if you want tonight, we do have NFL football tonight, Thursday Night Football, Bucks Falcons. And again, if you want the free play from Chris Hodge taking Vegas, just text WIN to 545454. We'll be watching Mets Brewers alongside you as well here tonight. We'll do it again next week. But again, the free play, text WIN to 545454.
While I've been on with you guys, I got a text from my wife that said, "What a 4-letter word you are." So she was listening to the show. That's what she said. To me. Yeah,
Chris,
I'm not getting any tonight when I get home, boys.
No, you're not.
Chris, we appreciate it, dude. We'll do it next Thursday. All right.
Have a good one, guys.
Good stuff, Chris Hodge from Taking Vegas. I don't know what to really think from this Mets Brewers perspective, how it impacts the Padres. I think we've all said that the Mets appear to be scary.
They do. They are scary.
But are the Brewers not scary?
The Brewers to me were like the team in the National League that I didn't view as a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 teams in baseball right now, and one of these 4 teams win the World Series: Yankees, Dodgers, Padres, Phillies. I would be surprised if any other of those 4 teams wins the World Series.
I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be shocked if Milwaukee won a World Series. I would be shocked if the Tigers won a World Series. I'd be shocked if Cleveland or the Royals won a World Series. Maybe you could throw the Mets as like not super surprised, but
you had the Mets in the list of potential winners, or did you not?
I did not.
You had 4, I thought.
Yeah, Yankees, Dodgers, Padres, Phillies.
Good call. Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah. At 1, 2,
2, 3, and 4.
4.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Okay. Well, he said what we said earlier, which is Padres Dodgers series winner. He likes to get to the World Series, and his pick 5 months ago was the Phillies to get to the World Series. But he thinks the way these teams are playing, specifically San Diego, the winner of this series gets to the World Series.
That's what I said last night. It just feels like, even though this is just the division round, it feels like a matchup of whoever wins is going to win the World Series. Now, maybe these two teams, as evenly matched as they are, just duke it out in a 5-game classic series, and they're just spent for the CS.
Right.
That's happened before.
That's happened. We've seen that, yeah.
Or not. I don't know. I mean, you could argue that the Phillies are a better team, but at the same time, or the Mets, if they're hot as well, it just does feel like whoever gets out of this round will make the World Series, unless they just throw haymakers at each other and kill themselves in this division series.
Right. Nobody can predict health. We don't know what's going to happen in this series for either of these teams. All right. Who wants free tickets for Saturday's San Diego State-Hawaii game at Snapdragon Stadium? First 10,000 fans are going to get those bucket hats. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. If you want 2 free tickets to San Diego State-Hawaii, Saturday at 5 p.m., call right now and play trivia with us. The number to call is 877-767-4760. This is the Aztecs against Hawaii conference opener, Snapdragon Stadium, Saturday night at 5 p.m. If you want 2 free tickets, you need to call right now. The number to call is 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be contestants for sports trivia or just trivia. Call right now, 877-767-4760. That's next. All right, Bryce Miller, columnist, Union Tribune.
Union Tribune.
Yeah, he's going to join us. Have you heard about the paper?
I think the effects of like for 7 hours yesterday and 5 Celsius is taking effect today.
Here's the other thing. This morning, dude. Listen to this. Kristen flies to Oakland at like 7 in the morning, so she was out of the house like early, like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I set my alarm because Jones has to be at school by 8 a.m. So I set my alarm for 6:30. I wake him at like 6:40, 6:45.
Right.
My alarm never went off. I wake up, I look over my phone, it's 7:08. And we're out of the house like 7:30. So I bailed on, he didn't shower or bath this morning. I just put clothes on him.
Just get dressed.
And I'm like, here's like a potato, like eat this. I don't know. I'm just like giving him random food. I'm like, here's a Starburst and potato. And then we just went to school.
A Starburst and a potato.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with him. He looks at me and I look at him.
That's 2 food groups.
And I'm like, just put like clothing on.
You don't know what to do with a child?
Not necessarily. Kristen's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let's go to the school area. So we go there.
Just get out of the car.
And
now.
I'm like, here, school. He's yours.
He's your problem now.
Anyway, it's been an interesting. Yeah. I mean, all we do is work.
And then you had to do the Sean Lewis coach show.
Did Sean Lewis's show earlier today.
6 p.m.
You can hear it at 6.
So
anyway, the Union Tribune, is a product of that.
Yeah.
It's a product of all of that. Bryce will join us in 10 minutes right now. Let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Diane and we have Dan. Diane, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to play with today?
Jon, please.
All right. Diane and Jon. Dan, you get Jim. Are you there, Dan?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool.
Why did you ask it like that? Like you didn't expect him to be there?
Well, I just wanted to make sure he's like present. And
okay.
Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, the Padres advanced to the NLDS last night. Can you name the 7 players in Padres franchise history that have hit 3 or more home postseason home runs with the club?
It's actually postseason home runs with the club.
Okay. Okay. So we're just looking for the 7 players in franchise history that have hit 3 or more postseason home runs.
All right. Dan, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Ken Caminetti.
Ken Caminetti, as you're driving on the freeway with the window down. All right, there we go. Diane, you're up next. What's your first guess? And you do have a lifeline if you want to.
Let's try Steve Garvey.
Steve Garvey runs as a Padre?
No, wrong. Dan, back to you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. Oh, Dan.
Dan, it's your turn.
Phil Nevin.
Oh, he's just really low. Phil Nevin. Okay.
Okay. Diane, back to you. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Can I have my lifeline? Because I need to at least get 1 point.
Wait, hold on.
It's Diane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diane wants the lifeline.
Yes,
okay.
John.
I will go with Manny Machado.
Do you take that, Diane?
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, on the list.
All
Boom.
right, tied up.
Dan, your final guess. What do you got? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Fernando Tatis.
Fernando Tatis.
Okay. Where, Dan? Where
are you? On
where
a
are you?
Phone?
Yeah, where are you calling
here?
from? You're very faint.
Okay, I'm in a car.
You're in a car. Okay,
that's obvious.
Yeah. So Dan's got a 2-1 lead.
Calm down. Yell at the caller. Diane, final guess. You don't have a lifeline. You need this to stay in the game. What do you got?
Tatis.
Tatis
3 homers.
He just said that.
Already said.
Oh yeah, but it was so faint. It was hard to hear.
So you got me. Did anybody say Tony Gwynn yet?
Tony.
No one did say Tony Gwynn.
Is Tony on the list?
Tony.
No, and that's it.
Oh, that is it.
That is it. Dan wins. I thought Tony Gwynn was going to be on the list.
No,
but I thought wrong.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn did not hit 3 postseason home runs as a San Diego Padre.
No.
Right. That's the point.
That's the point.
That's
John.
the question.
Yeah, there you go.
Tony Gwynn didn't hit 3 home runs as a San Diego Padre in the postseason.
No, John, we just said that.
Okay, I'm just talking myself through it. So who did hit 3 or more home runs?
Manny's got 6. Caminiti's got 5. Jim Leyritz has 4.
Jim Leyritz 98.
Tatis Jr. He's got 3.
Yes.
Greg Vaughn's got 3. Trent Grisham has 3.
Oh, Grisham.
And Mr. North Carolina Tacos himself, Will Myers has 3.
Wow, what a list.
Yeah, a lot of like the postseason records that the Padres have are going to be had in the next like couple years, and they're also being the next like week. Like,
well, because first of all, now there's more rounds, and secondly, now they're in the postseason a lot.
Yeah, and they haven't been in the postseason a lot as a franchise. So
right, okay, all right. So congratulations to Dan. You have won San Diego State Hawaii tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. That's a 5:00 kickoff. Our pregame coverage begins at 3. You can hear the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. So you're going to see San Diego State Hawaii. Again, tickets are available. First 10,000 fans get those reversible bucket hats. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. Bryce Miller has been writing about the Padres' run to the NLDS and about this matchup against the LA Dodgers. He will join us on the other side. We do have more giveaways for you in the 5:00 hour, including Rocktoberfest tickets. This will be Saturday, October 12th at the brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. So we'll give away tickets to Rocktoberfest in the 5:00 hour, but we'll kick off hour 3 of Jon and Jim with Bryce Miller, columnist for the UT. He'll join us next.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. Padres Dodgers NLDS gets underway. Game 1 on Saturday night up in LA. The Game 1 starter was supposed to be Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been now scheduled to be the Game 1 starter for them, going up against Dylan Cease for the Padres, meaning Jack Flaherty and Yu Darvish will be Game 2. Michael King will start for the Padres on Game 3. Joe Musgrove, don't know if he's going to be in the series. He left the game last night with elbow tightness. Going to be evaluated more the next couple days. He did say post-game that he did feel better, and feels like he has a chance to pitch in the postseason again. And right now, Game 3, Mets and Brewers. Winner of that game goes on to face the Phillies in the NLDS. It is scoreless as we head to the top of the 4th inning in Milwaukee. And tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice, continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour. Jon and Jim here until 6 p.m. We do have those Rocktoberfest tickets for the brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. We'll give away this hour. It is always great to connect with Bryce Miller, columnist for the Union Tribune. He's been writing about it. Padres and Dodgers again in the postseason. You can check out his recent column on it. Padres survive wild ride. Now bring on the Dodgers. Was it just always going to be this way, Bryce? And we appreciate you coming on. I mean, was this what we've all been expecting, right? 3rd time in 5 years, and inevitably it's the Padres and the Dodgers again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It felt like something that's built, that's been building for years. It started off in the early chapters with the Padres saying it was a rivalry, or the fan base at least, and kind of that sense of trying to have a rivalry. But the Dodgers were still dominating the series, winning every regular season series, winning the NL West title over and over and over. But this year, things really changed, and it really became the rivalry that, at least on the Padres side of the ledger, that they always wanted it to be. They won that season series. They were competitive. They played fearlessly, which they didn't always. And every series over the years they played with the Dodgers, there were times where it felt like those series were over before they started. But this feels different. It feels bigger. The Padres feel by far more complete. The season series gave people a sense that they can compete. They will. This should be a terrific series, and lots of people think the Padres, even though the Dodgers are the number 1 seed in the National League in this playoff, they're like, well, the Padres might be the team to beat, and it's never been like that.
Going into the series, Bryce, I mean, I would say that the Padres rotation is better than the Dodgers, but that was with Joe Musgrove. Now I feel like it's more even. How do you feel like this series could play out with the loss of Joe potentially? I know he said the other night after they won that he feels like he can pitch again, but I mean, to think that he could, after leaving the game with elbow tightness and it hurting, that's probably wishful thinking.
Yeah, there's no way. I wouldn't think that Musgrove would pitch in this series, if not the rest of the postseason. He was on the injured list a couple of times for elbow-related issues. We all know why that's a scary conversation for pitchers. And I guess if you take a step back, that would have felt devastating in the past, especially against the Dodgers in the playoffs. Remember when they faced the Dodgers and Clevenger and Lamet were out because of injury, and that series was over before it ever started because of that. But this rotation is so deep, and the line I used in the column, it might have gone from the depth of this rotation being a luxury to a life raft, but they do have the depth. They can turn around what team in baseball could win a wild card series and not have used Dylan Cease, not have used Yu Darvish, not have used a mostly effective Martin Perez? They could go turn around after by game 3, Michael King could be throwing again, who was absolutely dominant in game 1 of the wild card series against the Mets. So they have the pitching depth to kind of sustain this and deal with a Musgrove injury. And that's the bigger picture sense of it, is that in the past, a Joe Musgrove injury in the playoffs would have ended a Dodgers series. It hasn't done that because of that depth.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. Bryce Miller, columnist with the UT, with us right now on Jon and Jim. What do you make of the bye week? I mean, we've only seen it for 3 years. Like, this is the 3rd year of the current construction of the MLB postseason. Like, how do you think it factors in advantageously? Is it a disadvantage? Is it a factor at all, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, the answer is nobody really knows.
Right.
The Dodgers are one of those examples of, teams that have been so talented and successful in the regular, season, and it hasn't appeared that this is a formula for them to do well in the playoffs that bye week. Do some teams excel by continuing the momentum? I mean, you go an entire baseball season and you don't have any prolonged breaks, minus a bit at the All-Star break. Some of it is staying in a rhythm, staying in a groove, and is there value in that? And for some teams, there is. Some teams that can sit for a week, that allows pitching to get healthy. That allows you to set your rotation. That allows legs to be fresher when you do end up playing. On its face, it should be an absolute benefit. You don't have to go through the grind of an initial round. You get to rest everyone. You don't risk any injury. But people make that argument. I think the short answer is that there's just no way to know.
Bryce, I felt like this series against the Braves was a very workman-like series from the Padres, where, I mean, the Braves only led for an inning and a half of the entire series. Game 1 was not really stressful at all. Last night, that second inning, blew the game open, and then they had wiggle room there later in the game. But it just felt like, this team is on a mission right now, and the celebration after the game, while in the clubhouse, was great. On the field, it was like, yeah, we expect to be here. Did you feel that way with this team, that they're on a mission here and they're expecting themselves to, win a World Series or get to a World Series and get past the Dodgers here?
I think the expectation and belief part is absolutely true, and a difference from 2022. Even though that team was good, went all the way to the NLCS, Joe Musgrove, who is always has fantastic perspective, said in a press conference the other day that team had a little bit of, we're happy to be here. We're not sure how we got here, but let's keep it rolling and just, we have this momentum late in the year at the right time. This team was different. This team had an identity and a single voice kind of sense to it from the very beginning. And I think probably no one is more responsible for that than Mike Schilt. I mean, you hear enough players talk about it, and you hear enough of the same phrasing, and you get the sense over and over and over that he really made that a priority when he took this job, was to get them all on the same page in ways that even when they were good, even in 2022, that wasn't what it felt like. And because of all that, because of it coming together after the All-Star break and being the best team in baseball since the All-Star break, that belief thing that every team talks about, it seems genuine with them, because I think they've believed that since the beginning, even when they weren't the team they were after the All-Star break. And so that confidence is something that's huge for them right now, moving into a series against a team like the Dodgers.
Bryce Miller with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Fernando Tatis Jr. has been in the big leagues for 6 years. Kind of feels like a lifetime, the highs and lows. I mean, there's been some amazing moments, then there's been not even available in 2022. And we all have lived through it, obviously, if you're a Padres fan. But he's also produced in the postseason in limited opportunities. I mean, he's produced at a ridiculously high level in 2020 and 2024. Where do you see Tatis right now? It almost feels like it's full circle, or he's like lived through a lifetime of adversity to get to this point, and now it just seems like he's meeting the moment and taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it was just it felt like he's been around and done more than he, just from the sense when you think that until this postseason he hadn't played a playoff game in front of fans. So going back to 2020, with the pandemic, there weren't fans at those games. And over that time, I think one of the things, I wrote a column when he was suspended, the PED suspension, about kind of the immaturity and selfishness and decision-making that he made. He is so far, far, far beyond that player, that kid in that moment in terms of his maturity. He's really grown into, I don't know if you guys remember when they first tried him in right field, and I wrote something at the time too. I remember talking to one of their coaches at the time, Wayne Kirby, about, Fernando was, had his head down and moped when he went to right field. He didn't like that position change. And Wayne Kirby told me, I had the same conversation with him, get your chin up, go out there and play. He is not that player. He's not even close to that player anymore. The physical gifts, the talent are there, but he's grown into something different and bigger. And I think there's a confidence that's also kind of stirred in with some patience that he didn't have before. And he knows he has the type of team around him that he doesn't have to do everything. He can just be himself. And that makes him one of the best players in baseball beyond what we thought when he first came up.
What do you make of the Dodgers today switching up Yamamoto and Flaherty for games 1 and 2?
Yeah, I saw that in the morning. Flaherty was going to be game 1, and by the afternoon, it was Yamamoto. I was looking up their numbers, and if you just took the names off, the numbers are fairly similar. They've both been really, really good. The Padres have the benefit, I think, in the case of Yamamoto, of knowing that they really beat him up in Korea when they faced him in his debut. And this team this is not the same team it was then. The Padres are so much deeper and better, so they have some confidence. But Yamamoto's also had the whole season to settle in, and who knows about nerves in that first, that debut. And so you could make that argument on both sides, but they know they've gotten to him with a lot lesser lineup than the one they have now. But either way, they were going to face a really good pitcher, no matter who went to the mound. And it's the same case, and why this is so intriguing and interesting. They know that who they're facing for the Padres, those are two terrific game 1, game 2 pitching matchups. And then, like I said, I think the advantage shifts to the Padres if they're able to go back to, say, Michael King, because pitching depth is, especially starting pitching depth is, maybe the Achilles heels of that Dodgers team.
So where do you go game 4 if Joe misses this series, or if he's out for a long period of time for the Padres?
Perez is an option. If he can be the guy he was for a lot of the time, get them even five really good, solid innings, hand it off to that bullpen. The thing, they have options, and part of that is because of what AJ Preller did at the trade deadline with Jason Adams, Tanner Scott. At the moment, I remember thinking that doesn't seem very sexy. The trade deadline, were they going to go out and get a starting pitcher? Were they going to go out and get a big bat or a bench piece that would have caught your eye? But what a savvy, smart baseball move to make that pen as deep and as feared as it became. Now you have the ability to, if Martin Perez is in your plans, if you need to throw him at some point, you've got the bullpen depth to deal with that. If he's not the guy you want him to be on that day, it's just, and the bullpen is part of what this is special.
should be a hell of a series. I mean, it really should be. We'll see if it turns out to be one or not. One of those classics here in this series between the Padres and Dodgers, round 3 in the 2020s in the divisional series round. We'll start Saturday night at Dodger Stadium. Bryce, we love your perspective and your writing, and thanks for joining us here today on Jon and Jim.
Yeah, always. And I think maybe the biggest thing in that series is the game plan and how they handle the time. I mean, he's the difference maker.
Yeah, just I have a plan, and it's to put 4 fingers up in the air.
The Barry Bonds plan?
Yeah, I have a very good plan. I think it's good.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have a hit on my plan. 0 hits. Bryce, thank you.
Yeah.
Make anyone else beat you. I just don't care. I'm 4 fingers. That's my plan. We'll see if they do it or not. How much is it going to cost to go to Petco Park on Tuesday night for Game 3? We have that for you next, plus Rocktoberfest tickets. Stay with us. All right, hey guys, it's Jon and Jim. We've told you about our friends over at Hamul Casino, a great spot for the MLB postseason and throughout the course of football season as well. Every single Monday night, all football season long, you've got a chance to win big with Monday Night Live $100,000 Punch Out.
Yeah, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners. A chance to win up to $100,000 in cash.
All right, so Hamul Casino has great food and drink. They've got Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. You can watch all the games there. You're going to love their food. And then they have endless dining 5 nights a week. Endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet with perfect combinations of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, get to Hamul Casino all football season long, including every Monday night for Monday Night Live $100,000 Punch Out. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
right, I thought this was a much ado about nothing story. Give away Oktoberfest tickets to the next. But there's all this about the Padres limiting ticket buyers for the DS. Oh, deja vu. 2022, right? Here's the truth. Here's the truth. They had less than 1,000 tickets available, so who cares? 44,000 tickets were already accounted for, Padres fans.
Yeah.
They had less than 1,000 tickets available. They geo-fenced, so to speak. They gated the buyers to San Diego County, Arizona, Vegas, Southern Orange County. Okay. These are their fans. I mean, they've drawn all season long. They had less than 1,000 tickets available. And by the way, game one, as of earlier today, was not sold out at Dodger Stadium. If you're a Dodger fan and really want to see the Dodgers, just buy tickets at Dodger Stadium. And if you really want the tickets and you're worried about these 1,000 tickets that sold out in 2 minutes, you can get them on the secondary market.
Yeah.
Isn't that like much ado about nothing? It's such a dumb story.
Like, if Dodger fans were smart, they could realize that, like you just said, the secondary market, John,
you can buy them.
You can go get the
tickets.
If
you have money,
you
can use it.
But a lot of Dodger fans can't use their brain correctly to figure that out, and they just bitch and complain because of the quote-unquote geofencing.
Okay, so here's what it costs to get in. I mean, it's not even that crazy. And again, hopefully it's going to be a ton of Padre fans. We lived through it in 2022.
98%.
Will there be some
99%.
Dodger fans? Sure. But obviously, it's going to be overwhelmingly Padre fans. They have this huge season ticket base right now. This is what it costs to get in Tuesday night. This is game 3. We don't know if they're up 2 games or down 2 games or if it's split. It's $204 on the secondary market, Gallagher Square. Okay, so $204 get in.
Okay.
$312 for a seat. That's
Okay.
section 325. If you want to sit, you can sit on the lawn. But if you want to sit in a seat, $312 as of the UT publishing an article within the hour.
Okay.
Likely is going to go up.
Yeah.
Depending on, I would think it goes up, but you're talking $300 or $400 to get in and sit, $200 to $300 just to get in.
This tweet showed up on my timeline from a Dodger fan.
Okay.
Fox Sports MLB Twitter put out, this series should be fun.
Yeah.
Which team has the better atmosphere? Petco Park or Dodger Stadium?
That's not even a question.
Not even
right
close. It's Petco Park.
That's not even a question.
No,
and Dodger fans would tell you that if they're looking.
Dodger Stadium is so like compared to Petco Park, not even close. It just stop.
I guess it depends if getting stabbed in the parking lot is part of your stadium flair.
A Dodger fan put down, ticket restrictions in SD is soft. Guests are not confident their crowd will show without help.
Tell me you don't know Petco without telling me you don't know Petco.
Right. Petco Park, the atmosphere there is electric. It's the best in baseball.
They're playing the Rockies.
That doesn't make any sense.
It literally doesn't.
If they didn't think people are going to show up, wouldn't they sell the tickets outside of the county because they'd have empty seats?
Good point.
Game 1 at Dodger Stadium is not sold out, like you said.
It hadn't been. Is it now? I don't know.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Like if I go to Dodgers.com. Yeah, it was not sold out. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Now, I would say this, if you're a Padres fan and you hear that, get to Dodger Stadium.
Sure.
And I check the secondary market. I don't know what the game 1 prices are.
What's the price?
I'm going to find. So the game 3 prices, like we talked about, right now you can get a Gallagher Square ticket at StubHub for $195.
Yeah.
You can get a seat for $310. Now, game 1 will be in Los Angeles. At a stadium called Dodger Stadium. I'm looking right now. Saturday night.
Tatis Ravine.
2 tickets. The get-in price, and now again, it's a bigger stadium. This isn't that crazy. The get-in price is $161.
Yeah,
so it's kind of similar.
Decent
because it's kind of similar. Get-in price is $161.
But as we saw in the wild card round, Petco's going to pack in 47,000 plus.
It was big crowds. Yeah.
When a couple years ago, 47,000 plus was not doable.
Correct.
They are going to the max, and it's because of Gallagher Square and how they're just going to pack in people in Gallagher Square. And the atmosphere there is electric. Like if you're going to see a stadium full of Padres fans, and you're going to see a stadium full of Padres fans, regardless of the quote unquote geofencing or whatever, because Padres fans are amazing.
I'm at Dodger.com. I clicked on tickets. And I'll be fully honest here. It's not like there's a million tickets available.
There's not. No.
I think we're probably talking right as we sit here now. a couple hundred. Like, look at this. The last section upstairs and right. You know that wraparound section we always talk about? There's nobody ever in there. We watched the other night in September. There's nobody down the left field line. There's nobody down the right field line. I mean, look at that. You have 6 full rows completely vacant for Saturday night. I mean, I don't know how many tickets. That's 100 tickets just in that section.
How?
That are available, right? I don't know. But that's a few sections like that. They probably have, I'm making this up, I'm ballpark 500 tickets available for Saturday night, 1,000, something like that.
Well, we know the atmosphere up in LA at Dodger Stadium is nothing compared to Petco.
These are the available sections.
Yeah, and no one sits
Even
there.
if they sell it out, 3/4 of them won't show up until the 4th inning anyways.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows with 10 plus tickets available.
Right.
I'm at Dodgers. They have 1,000 tickets available for this game. If you're hearing me and you're a Padre fan, buy them.
Yeah, get up there. Go.
Honestly.
Actually,
buy them.
I hate Dodger Stadium.
But if you're a Padre fan, don't you want to see the Padres?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, I mean, these are $120.
It's just getting up there is such a hassle. Getting in that
I
stupid
agree,
stadium
but
is
it's a Saturday.
It is a Saturday, and so you don't have to worry about
face tickets in this section. 143 with taxes. That's
I'm in.
I mean, that's doable.
And in postseason, I don't care where I sit. Like I'll sit last row.
Just get in.
I just want to be a part of it, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, Dodger Stadium, 145, 2 tickets each.
Yeah, 145. Again, that's it's the postseason. I mean, you're going to spend a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk more about that on the other side. We'll give away those Rocktoberfest tickets on the other side. We have Jim's back page still ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer, and lower mortgage rates are finally here thanks to the Fed and Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or within the last few months or year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi. So get started. Use this opportunity to get cash out and wipe out your credit cards. You can do a cash out refi and get 50, 75, 100 grand or more out of your home and use that to pay off your other high interest debt and end up with just one low monthly payment. If you act now, you can skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well. So call now, get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. VA Streamline loans are also available with Loan Pronto. Call 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right, this update's brought to you by Unbound.org. Padres are moving on to the National League Division Series to take on the Dodgers starting on Saturday night up at Dodger Stadium. 5:38 first pitch for Game 1. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres against Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. Jack Flaherty got switched from Game 1 to now Game 2. Looking at this Milwaukee Brewers and New York Game 3. Right now, it's still scoreless. Bottom 5 in Milwaukee. Of course, the winner there moves on to take on the Phillies in the NLDS. And tonight, 6 p.m., is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice, continue their dream of education or drop out. To help their family put food on the table, you can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right. Are you sure it's up for the series? Right?
They just showed it.
Okay, so Milwaukee and New York are playing this game 3, right? In Milwaukee Brewers and Mets. And it's been a very good game.
They're 0 for 6 tonight.
0 for 6.
No, they're 0 for 10.
Must be. Yeah, so Milwaukee has not had a hit.
I was like,
They haven't had a hit with Mets in the series. 0 for 10, yet they still can win the series. Yeah, it's 0 for 6. Let's see what it does. 0 for 6. It says tonight 0 for 10. Yeah, it did say tonight. Oh, 0 for 10 in the series. Because that is down below 0 for 6 tonight. All right, hold on. 0 for 6. Brewers. Well, it's the fifth inning. If they're over 10 in the fifth inning, that's like even 0 for 6. Well, winner gets the Phillies. You could call it a must-win game. Decisive game 3 in Milwaukee. Scoreless in the 5th is Milwaukee. But yeah, Milwaukee's got a man in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning trying to take a lead. There was a text here, Jim.
Okay.
It said, and we have for Oktoberfest tickets. We'll give them away. 858 says, why are you guys telling Dodger fans how to get tickets on the secondary market? I mean, people have Google, right? Like, it's not really hard.
And they're not going to, all of a sudden, because we said that, fill half the stadium.
Oh, God. Thank you, Jon and Jim.
No.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
mean, this isn't exactly rocket science. If you're a Padre fan, you want to go to Dodger Stadium, I have an idea. Buy tickets.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a game at Petco Park, I have an idea. Buy tickets.
What I am confident in, though, which is cool, is that I know game 3, and if there's a game 4, it will be majority Padres fans, just like it was in 2022.
No, it wasn't majority 2022. It was all.
No, that's what I mean. Like the
Majority is
majority,
like 60-40.
okay, fine. All of Petco will be Padres.
But
fans.
will it be? I'm honestly curious.
Yeah, it will be
You're
98%
Okay.
Padres fans. I am
What if-
convinced of that.
What if it was 2-1 Dodgers into game 4?
Then it could switch a little bit. But
That's why I asked.
But yeah, it all depends, you know. And going back to like our interview with Bryce, what they do game 4. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it
Not
still has
really.
to.
There's probably gonna be a 4th game.
Probably, but if they're up 2-1, I think they do consider Martin Perez, and they go just like first sign of danger, bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I would go probably Adrian Morejon to be honest with you, and go full bullpen day. But you got to get there first. If they're up 2-1, yeah. If they're down 2-1, that will be very fascinating to see what they do.
Yeah, down 2-1, it feels like you can't wait around for a 5th game in Dylan Cease.
No.
But you also need to make sure Dylan Cease can be effective, and the typical Dylan Cease on 3 days rest. So you probably have to go through that well before game 4. You see, like if Dylan Cease throws game 1, you're not just going to tell him the night before game 4, hey, we need you now.
Right.
Because he's going to throw bullpens, and you're going to have to build around his availability.
Well, yeah.
I say this is where the Joe Musgrove loss is a significant one. I mean, no matter how you look at it, up to get 2 games to 1, it's a significant loss. Down 2 games to 1, it's a significant loss because you're moving things around to make it work for you that aren't ideal.
Yeah. Going into this series, there's a lot of things to feel confident about from a Padres perspective, and we have all day tomorrow to talk about it as well. But the one thing that happened this year is the Padres played very well against the Dodgers every series. Now, until the last series. The last series,
they won it, right?
No, they did not.
They lost it, right?
They lost it, John. Way
Did
to
they?
way to
The Suarez triple play was a win.
I remember my first time watching Padres baseball.
Dude, I'm the busiest man on earth. They won that game.
Really?
Remember the triple play?
Are you
think
seri-
they lost the game with the triple
Wait,
play?
are you serious? You don't know they lost that series?
They won the game with the triple play.
And then they lost the next two.
That's not the series.
That's
you
only
idiot.
That's one series.
Okay.
They didn't need that one. I mean, yeah, they did actually to win the division, right?
They needed at least one game to clinch a playoff spot, and then
they did that
to sweep that series to have a chance at the division because they were 3 games back with 6 to play. Are you okay?
Well, that was a big ask to sweep that series.
Well, yes, I know. My point being, the Padres played the Dodgers straight up all season long, and they played better than the Dodgers all season long until the final series of the year at Dodger Stadium, where the triple play game, if that doesn't happen, there's a good chance that the Dodgers win that game. And then the next game, the following night, Joe was pitching really, really well. They had a 2-0 lead.
Will
He
Smith
gave up that
took him
2-run
deep.
homer to Will Smith. The bullpen came in and kind of imploded. And then game 3, I don't fully remember what happened game 3.
You're ripping
But I
me for
know-
not remembering.
No, but I know they lost that game, John.
I do too.
You just said they won that series.
Well, I like saying it that way. It sounds way better to say they won that series.
That's just
they won the season series.
Yes, we know. Yes, they won the season series. But I was talking about
I got no concerns with them losing that series at Dodger Stadium being relevant to this series. And let me explain why. How's it relevant to this series?
It's the same thing we saw and we talked about in 2022. Them losing every series to the Dodgers.
How was it relevant, right?
Didn't have any relevancy.
That's my point.
It's
not relevant.
The only thing that is relevant coming into this series is Shohei Ohtani still
Out
red
of this world.
hot?
Yes, that right. The one thing I'm thinking about from the Dodger perspective, first of all, I think the Dodgers lineup, even well beyond Shohei Ohtani, is really deep. And I think the Padres lineup is really deep. I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to continue to tee off. I just have that feeling in my body right now that this guy is also red hot. He's always taken advantage of opportunities at Dodger Stadium. But yes, like, is Shohei Ohtani a difference maker in the series? Surprise, he is. So what are they going to do with Shohei Ohtani is probably a significant storyline. But also, what are the Dodgers going to do against Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado? I mean, those are some darn good hitters as well. So it's not just like Ohtani's the only story in the series. It goes well beyond Shohei Ohtani. But yeah, I mean, you can't let him hit 4 home runs in a 5-game series or something like that, right?
4 home
He's
runs.
fully capable. He's capable of being that guy. They have to prevent that from happening. They're going to have to make other players beat them. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think if Ohtani has a really, really good series, I think advantage Dodgers. I think if the Padres can figure out a way to limit Ohtani and he doesn't go off and go like 8 for 15 or whatever,
yeah,
then it's advantage Padres. Like,
simple as that.
Yeah, that's to me the series there. Can the Padres make sure Ohtani goes off? If the Padres can keep Ohtani at bay, then I do think that swings to the Padres benefit.
Don't you feel like in your head, you're like, oh, the Padres did a nice job in the regular season? Like, in your head, you feel that way, right? I'm saying that?
Not really.
Well, I did. He had a 922 OPS in 12 games, hit 326. Truthfully, it's probably about his 15th best team in terms of success this year.
What do you do against the Rockies?
Like, some of his OPS are so dumb. Against the White Sox, 1,500. Against the Royals, 1,500. Against the Marlins, 1,544. Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
50-50 game. Yeah. So he had some bonkers series and bonkers season series. So maybe 922 is half decent for the Padres pitching staff. But the point is, like, kind of falls out of bed as a 900 OPS player.
Yeah. And the adage is going to go into the series saying, do your best to try to not let Ohtani beat you.
Mm-hmm.
If Mookie beats you, okay, well, if Freddie Freeman beats you,
right,
okay, Max Muncy beats you, not going to be great. It's not going to be great if any of those players beat you, obviously, but Ohtani's the one guy that I feel like if you can somewhat control, and that's way easier said than done, I understand that. But if he's going to go off like he did the last 3 weeks of the season in the postseason, the Dodgers are going to be hard to beat. They just are. And I talked about it in the wrap-up show last night. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when the Warriors, in a different sport, I get it. I understand. But when the Warriors lost the finals to the Cavs in 2016 and they went and got Kevin Durant, that was like the X factor that the Cavs could not match up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously baseball. I get it. But the Dodgers, they got embarrassed last postseason. Mookie and Freddie Freeman had a god-awful series.
Like hitless, yeah.
And they went out and they got Ohtani, the X factor. Is that going to prove to be the case this postseason? And is he going to help carry this team to a World Series? Or the Dodgers once again going to choke and not get out of the division round?
How willing are you really to create separate rules for Ohtani in a series like this? Like, are you truly willing to just put this guy on, like start innings by putting him on?
I don't think
I'm not
so.
going to do that. I can't have Dylan Cease, who's finished second in Cy Young voting before, and say, you know what? I am just going to literally put him on every time. You can't go that far, but how far are you willing to go?
I think to start a series, you don't do that. But if Ohtani in game one's like 4 for 5 with 2 doubles,
then maybe game 2 you're doing that.
Then maybe game 2 you switch up your strategy a little bit against him. But again, like if the Dodgers don't win a World Series, it's a colossal failure. I'm not going to say that if the Dodgers lose the series and if the Padres win the series, it's a choke on the Dodgers, because to me, the Padres would just be considered the better team, and that means they've played better than the Dodgers. But overall, the Dodgers are favorites in this series. The Dodgers are expected to win the World Series this year. The Dodgers are not underdogs. They're not anything close to gritty. They are the Goliath. Now, it's not David Goliath in this matchup, but they are expected to win. Padres will go in there. I think it's a 50-50 chance. Both teams goes 50-50 coin flip. But the Padres match up with the Dodgers very well. And I think they have advantages in the rotation. I think they have advantages in the bullpen. I think that they have advantages in some part of their lineup. It's just, what does Ohtani do? That's the question.
Call right now if you want Rocktoberfest tickets for Saturday, October 12th at the brand new Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. Tickets on sale now starting at $39. Go to AXS.com. This is Seether, Giovanni, and the Hired Guns and more. And this is October 12th. Caller number 2, you're going. 877-767-4760. Second caller to 877-767-4760 is going to Rocktoberfest. Jim's Back Page is next. All right, as we get ready for the NLDS, Jim's back page, it appears as if Ha-Seong Kim has played his last game as a San Diego Padre. Kevin AC reporting has hired Scott Boras to represent him and hired Scott Boras to opt into an $8 million contract. I know that. So he will opt out, and he's going to have surgery potentially this offseason, and he's going to be a free agent with Scott Boras as his representation. So 4 years of Ha-Seong Kim. He's not going to finish it active here in 2024, but you don't opt in with Scott Boras as your agent.
It's a conversation for the offseason, but it if Ha-Seong Kim does not return, kind of makes it even more interesting of like, why did you move Bogarts to second like right now?
Right.
Like, who's your shortstop?
Right. If he was just going to leave at the end of the year.
Yeah. I always thought that.
Right.
I mean, I understood it but at the same time, I'm like,
yeah, that is
Jake's around for a while. Yeah. And I mean,
there's no way Kim's coming back. You don't hire Scott Boras.
I don't think so, unfortunately.
It would play out over a long period of time. You're not going to overpay for him.
Maybe Boras has had a change of heart. He's changing his
strategy.
Yeah.
Hey, you hire me and you can opt into your 1 year, $8 million option.
Watch out for a team like the Giants with Lee and Melvin there.
Melvin's still there.
Ha-Seong Kim. Jung-Hoo Lee, obviously the relationship that they have together.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out on that. Let's get to the back page.
Nike later this year is releasing a new, I guess, clog shoe.
I don't know.
Is it made of wood?
No, like what are they called? Clogs, or I don't know, like those slip-ons, like a slip-on shoe.
Okay.
Crocs?
Yeah, it's like a Croc. It is a Green Goblin shoe, Croc. Okay. So it's like it looks like the Green Goblin colors and from the movies, and it's like a slip-on shoe. So it's like a slip-on Green Goblin Croc.
I hate Crocs.
Pick them up while available.
Anyway, coming later this year. No other details on that, but there you go. McDonald's is finally bringing back the Chicken Big Mac to the United States. I'm just reading it.
Shocking.
I'm tired.
I thought you had this written out.
No. Well, I'm reading like the story, you idiot.
Didn't you do this last week?
Shut up, Brent. October 10th for a limited time. This is the McDonald's Big Mac you all know, but instead of beef, it's 2 battered chicken patties.
Oh, like the story you read last week.
Shut up, John. Dunkin' Donut.
When they're battered, what's that mean? They beat them up before they put them in the sandwich?
Dunkin' Donut just entered the Halloween bucket arena. I'm just reading it. I don't care anymore. Starting October 16th, you can get the new Dunkin' Donut bucket with 50 munchkins to take with you for trick or treat. Munchkins are donut holes, John.
Yeah, no, I know they are.
Okay. Are you interested in that?
Not particularly, but you know me, I'm not a big like donut munchkin guy, but I could see people being interested in it. Yeah. Not me specifically, though. Are you interested in it?
Maybe Jones would be interested in it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100% would be. 100%.
McDonald's just dropped another new McFlurry flavor, only in Canada, though. Sorry. I don't know why they're not bringing this to the States. It's a Reese's McFlurry with Chip-Its. What's Chip-It? Is that a Canada thing?
I don't know.
Chip-It? Vanilla soft serve with hot fudge and Reese's Chip-Its.
I don't know what that is.
Which are effectively peanut butter chips.
Right. They look like Hershey chips.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're just chocolate chips, only they're peanut butter chips.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
Wow.
And then Boo Buckets. I know I read this before, but just a reminder. Boo Buckets are returning to McDonald's October 15th in time for Halloween. They have 4 different colors of Boo Buckets and stickers as well to dress up your Boo Bucket for Halloween.
And a Boo Bucket is?
It is a Halloween bucket that are for kids, John.
Yeah. It's a pail, so the kids have something to put their candy in.
Yeah. You have a white, an orange, a green, and a blue color. They all come with stickers to dress up your Boo Bucket.
And I can pick one of those up at McDonald's
for Jones.
Just go in and ask for one, or they're charging?
Well, they're charging, John.
It's not complimentary.
They used to give them away with like Happy Meals and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're still going to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe. There you go.
What a back page. That was really.
I just rapid fired that.
That was rapid fire. You just ran through them. That was very good. That was really good. All right, tomorrow we're back here at 3 p.m. with Kevin AC. He's going to join us twice this week for the first time like ever.
Well, he should.
I wasn't going to ask him to join again until he was like, "I'm back Friday, right?"
We need to have him on Friday. We need to have him on next Tuesday for the game 3. We need to have him on probably again after that. Like, come on.
I don't know. We're going to have to ask him if he wants to do that. But we do have Kevin tomorrow. You know who else we have tomorrow?
We have Cynthia Freeland tomorrow, John.
Yep, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network will get us ready for week 5. Arguably, JB Long might join us as well. But Kevin AC is on the show to get us ready for just a massive weekend. I mean, starting Saturday night at Dodger Stadium, this whole thing again.
I hope there's an update tomorrow when we talk to Kevin about Joe.
Yeah, I don't know if there will be.
Yeah, knowing the Padres,
probably
highly
not.
unlikely.
It'll be like the same updates we've been getting on Kim for months.
Yeah, I'd be shocked because you don't
He's
have
still
to have
here.
a playoff roster until Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, and they keep everything tight to the vest,
which they probably should. It's the postseason. I mean,
and like you said, they can still put Joe on the postseason roster.
just take him off
the DS roster, but it doesn't mean he's 100% pitching either.
Right. That's the one thing. I think people will get really excited if they see him on the roster, and I would be like, well, we'll see what it really means
because he'll still need to throw at least a bullpen before his next scheduled start.
Oh, definitely.
And if he throws a bullpen and he's like, yeah, no.
But then again, would you put him on from day one as opposed to put an extra reliever on? Because you might want to use a reliever in the first couple of games of that series.
But then you'd have to make sure that reliever you wouldn't use in the next round potentially if you get there. Because you take him off, you can't pitch the next round.
No, but I'm saying if I put Joe on my postseason roster and then game 1 rolls around and I want an extra reliever, just in general. Now I don't have it because Joe Musgrove's active. Not a big deal. Maybe it's not a big deal. It's probably not a huge deal.
No. I feel like the roster will look the exact same as it did the wild card round.
It's going to look exactly the same. It's a 5-game series. Maybe
sorry, Nikki. You're off the roster.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. Saturday morning, we'll talk to Kevin AC tomorrow. If you missed anything today, sportsfc.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. You can find us on social media at Jon and Jim. Follow us there, JONANDJIM. A whole lot more to discuss tomorrow at 3 p.m. as we get ready for Padres, Dodgers, Aztecs this weekend as well. For Brent and Jim, I'm Jon. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760. Bye-bye.